This show is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find the other great shows on the network, head over to the deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Bev's Video Kingdom is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
Bev's Video Kingdom really is brought to you by...
What the fuck?
What's up, dude?
One of my renters broke the toilet again. That dude takes giant shits. Now I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Why don't you hire a property management company or something to take care of that stuff?
Because they suck, and they take 10%.
You know, our dude Hank owns and manages Heritage Realty Partners. I think he said he only charges 5%, and he visits each property at least once a month.
That's right. He's always posting beers from the road. You have his number?
Actually, I do. His personal number is 805-451-5734.
Perfect. Now he can deal with my renter's big shits.
Heritage Realty Partners.
For all your property management and investment needs.
Bev's Video Kingdom is brought to you by Get Out Now, the perfect new app to get you out of any situation. Tired of being stuck in situations you'd rather not be in? Need a quick escape? Introducing Get Out Now, the app that helps you get out of any situation with just a few taps on your phone. With Get Out Now, you can easily create fake emergencies, schedule fake phone calls, or even simulate a fake pet emergency to make your exit in a jiffy. Don't want to sit through that boring play your friend dragged you to? Get Out Now can send you a fake urgent message that requires you immediate attention. And for those awkward dates, simply use the Rescue Me feature to receive a fake call from a friend with a perfect excuse to bail out. Did you just blow it and realize you shouldn't have just slept with your best friend and need a quick escape? Hit the get me the fuck out of here button and we'll literally set your apartment on fire and have the fire department call you. So download Get Out Now today. Start escaping with ease. Remember, with Get Out Now, you're always in control.
I love just fire. Just need a quick house fire, dude.
Literally
Clear the room.
set your apartment on fire.
Yeah. Now I know what's going on every time Nate's like, "Oh, dude, I'm sorry, man. Something came up. I can't go." Fucking
Get out now.
all those fucking pet emergencies, bro. God damn.
I got a lot of pets.
I can grab your favorite podcast. Let's start this thing. Woo!
Can you and I be
Dramatic pause.
I love my dramatic pauses. What you guys can't see out there is that I just stare kind of uncomfortably at Brad whenever that happens.
He's so red.
It makes me just laugh. He gives this like sly look like, what are you doing, motherfucker?
I was trying to make kind of like more like eyes at you. Hey, Brad,
damn.
what do you think? Do you think you and I can be friends without it turning romantic?
I mean, we've been friends for a while.
Can Brad's and Nate's be friends?
I've been always trying to, get laid by you.
I can't quit you.
That's more grammatically incorrect than it's uncomfortable, to be honest. Okay.
Get laid by you.
Not with that. You're not going to do the lay.
What are
by
the
him.
mechanics of that?
I don't know.
Getting laid by you.
I mean, I think that's up to the participant.
All right, so we are here, and in case you hadn't guessed by my super cryptic comment, we're talking When Harry Met Sally.
Woo!
It's time. The time has come.
You told me today that it's your favorite rom-com, which was insane to me.
Absolutely is.
It's so good.
Yeah. So here I want to say something that what's more insane is that back in the day when I did my top 100 movie or my top 10 movie rankings, which have 170 movies on it.
His top 5 was wild shit.
Well, yeah, a lot of rom-coms. I believe it went Shawshank Redemption, When Harry Met Sally, Hoosiers.
Love Actually.
Was it Love Actually?
It was in the top 5.
It was top 5, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then like Good Will Hunting. But I mean, When Harry Met Sally is legit top 3 for me. Mm-hmm. Like it's
all-time movies, period. We're talking all the movies.
All the movies.
Yes.
If you were to have a van and you were to load up all the DVDs that had ever been produced,
It would sit right next to the driver,
exactly, I would put it right on my windshield.
right underneath your nutsack.
It would be like I would hold Shawshank and When Harry Met Sally under my arms, and I would drive with
Shawshank
my
Harry.
knee.
Yeah.
Like Harry Shawshank.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
My new porn name.
we're doing When Harry Met Sally. Let's do a quick roll call here, though, because there's this like super high pitched voice that I'm not familiar.
And it's not
with.
me this time.
He was looking at Scott.
He looked right at me.
That was, there's a super high voice. Dramatic pause. Okay, so let's do a little roll call here. We got Brad. Hey, Brad.
Yep, that's me.
We got Scott.
Hi, guys.
That was a little lower than normal.
I tried.
Hi, guys.
And we got Zach.
Hey, it's Zach.
And who is this lovely high pitched vixen over here?
Oh, hi. Kendra.
Hello.
Kendra.
Jesus! All of a sudden, it was a 1-800 number just
Kendra.
popped in. My head. Oh, God.
That's where you went with that. I was like, oh, it sounded like a Disney princess voice.
No, you know how many? She's on Girls Next Door, right? Kendra. It's very familiar, unfortunately.
That girl.
Kendra.
I forgot. I haven't thought about that girl in a long
She
time.
laughs like a dolphin. Terrible.
So you all know Kendra from the draft about foods. We know Kendra from the
New
speed
Orleans.
draft.
Eyes closed.
She's been probably
No, not the speed draft. She
I
was
didn't do speed.
she was
I
the most
The romantic one-liners, right?
Oh, the most
romantic
romantic
one-liners.
Yeah.
But I mean,
That's right.
probably our most prolific guest, maybe,
I would
or
say
close
so.
to it. Who have we had on more than Kendra? Besides Scotty, until Scotty infiltrated our ranks.
Probably the person that I married.
Kendra. So yeah,
Probably,
him
it's
on
probably
a lot.
close.
you might get a pipe in here from hey Walter.
Hi.
Walter's not.
He said he's not here.
Walter is officially not here, but occasionally you might hear. Well, his beard's all trimmed right now. It's kind of
And his
freaking
hair.
me out a little bit.
In the car on the way over here, even though I wasn't in it, and this story is completely made up, Kendra was telling Walter, like, I don't want to hear a fucking peep out of you the entire time. This is
Oh,
about
she gave
me
him the
tonight.
business.
Yeah, she was like, this is about me, and if I hear you fucking say anything,
I actually held a knife to his throat the whole ride.
It was a little aggressive.
Talk, speak again.
They were in the back seat. I was just like the chauffeur just driving. I was just like,
My car can do.
I turned the rear view away and I was just like, I'm just gonna let them do their business, whatever.
oh, have you ever done that? Have you ever like picked people up and then they both get in the back seat
No,
and you're just
absolutely
in
have
the
not. Have you done that?
No, but that would be so funny to be like, hey, will you pick us up? They're like, sure, and then you just both get in the back seat while they sit in the front. So you just don't talk to them, and then have like a subtle fight with your significant other in the back seat.
Well, it goes that way or it goes the other way.
I will say,
Subtle fight.
related to that, my favorite thing ever that I did with Uber was I took an Uber pool one time in San Francisco.
Okay.
About at bar closing time.
Ooh.
And I was the first one on, and then we picked up like 2 other couples and 1 other guy. And by the time we got to the first guy getting dropped off, these couples were about to fight each other in the middle of the van. It was so amazing.
Wow.
I'm just sitting there like, if I had popcorn, I would have just been just eating it, watching these 2 women started hating on each other immediately. And I was just like, is this what Uber pools are like? This is
dude, I'm
saving me $3 right now. This is awesome.
There's definitely a TV show to be made here.
I was gonna say, like, how far were you going that you thought I need to get the pool?
Instead of cash cab, it can be trash cab.
That's why
like
Kendra.
that.
All right.
in.
Sign those releases, folks.
So I was debating. We've kind of turned to some of the most iconic films. We're getting into a run here, and so of course it was my turn to pick, and I went rom-com. And the idea was I should pick one of the like top iconic rom-coms, and so there were 2 that I was considering.
What was the other one? Harold and Maude?
I'm not.
The look you just gave me.
So mad at you.
I wish we had video because that was a look.
Jesus
That's what the young
Christ.
kids call throwing shade.
Notting Hill, which is in my top 10.
Never saw it.
Notting Hill or When Harry Met Sally. So I threw it. So we kind of threw it to Kendra, and we're like, which one would you do? And this is your favorite, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I love it so much.
Yeah. So When Harry Met Sally, I think arguably, not only is it, I think on most lists, the number 1 rom-com, and I'll talk about some others that are up there that I want to kick in the teeth, but, I would say that there's a lot of people that argue it's sort of the birth of the modern rom-com. Like, I don't know that there's anything before it that has the same recipe, right? The one that people sometimes argue is Annie Hall, which I think is fucking garbage.
Where does Sleepless in Seattle fall in relation to When Harry Met Sally?
So
A few years later,
one or
like,
2 years later, yeah.
1993.
that sounds about
Sleepless
right.
in Seattle.
So I mean, I
Okay.
can't. I was.
Oh,
try-
yeah, then definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's and what I think is strange about it in this way is like I think there's a lot of times a movie that is the birther of a genre in that way, but doesn't necessarily end up holding up as the best. And I'm not sure that this isn't absolutely still the best of the genre. So
Nate, I know you'll be surprised, but I'm going to cut you off there.
He's been steaming this whole fucking time.
I don't think that this is as formulaic as you're kind of making it out to be. I don't think that this follows, in my mind, like the true rom-com sort of meet cute, things are going great, we have a big tragedy, some sort of betrayal, and then they get back together.
But something had to make the meet cute.
Right. No, I mean, I get that. I don't think it's, I think that other ones kind of took the formula and tweaked it in a worse way and then made a bunch of more movies like that.
You're talking, this is the perfect meet cute. Oh,
No, for sure.
I pulled up and he was making out with another chick for like 5 minutes. It was awesome.
I guess the third act doesn't go the way that I thought it was going to go. I guess I thought that after they slept together, I thought for sure after they slept together, they were going to be madly in love, and then something was going to happen to where they hate each other and break up, and then they would get back together
Like
at
an
the very end.
outside force.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not what happened, which I thought actually kind of made it dope.
So I guess what I would say is like, what if we took a slightly broader definition of rom-com, which is, I think, literally the title, right? The core narrative of the movie is about some path by which two people come together and become romantically involved, and it is a comedy genre film, right? That the tone and everything's comedic. When I say it's the birthplace of the genre, I kind of mean that, right?
Okay, I'm with that.
And so I agree that the formula, and maybe this is part of why it's, I think, held up so well, is like it doesn't fall into a lot of the traps that the copies of it do.
Exactly.
And I think that, that there are some things about the later great ones like Notting Hill and Sleepless in Seattle and some of the ones that come that fall into those traps in certain ways. But in general, right, this is the sort of like the question starts to become, how much does it do the things that everyone else does well, and how much does it do something a little bit different as they go on? And this one, it's its own, and we'll get into it in a little bit, but I think the core organizing feature of can men and women be friends without being romantically involved is the genius of the movie, right? Because it's so fundamental in a couple different ways. So I want to jump on that, but I want to hear like, well, what's everybody? So Mr. rom-com guy.
So
What'd you think?
so yesterday I told the guys, I was like, I'm gonna watch the movie. Scott was like, it's on HBO Max. I was like, all right. And if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it on HBO Max, because I'm gonna tell you,
It's great.
I really thought I was gonna hate it, and I was really not excited to watch it. And I was like, fucking rom-com bullshit. I really don't want to watch it. My wife was like, I've seen it, but man, I really don't remember. I don't know if you'll like it. It's been so long since I've seen it. And we were like, all right, we're going to sit down and watch it. And dude, I fucking really liked it. Like, I really liked it a lot. I really hated Billy Crystal, like right off the bat.
Yeah.
And I kind of loved the character arc that his character sort of goes on. And honestly, I keep wanting to call her Michelle Pfeiffer. What's her fucking name?
Meg Ryan.
Meg
Meg Ryan. Fucking
You
Meg
less
Ryan.
letters.
Yes. And Meg Ryan, I loved her character. I mean, I'm going to talk about it later, but like the fucking hair throughout this movie on both men, women, facial hair, everything about hair in this movie is just absolutely amazing. Some of the outfits were just fucking off the wall and amazing. So yeah, I hate to use the word amazing too many times, but I really, really like the movie, and I didn't think that I would. So if you haven't seen it yet, go on HBO Max and check it out. Scotch?
I'm definitely in the camp of I've loved this movie since the first day I saw it.
So you saw when did you see it?
When not long after it came out, probably.
Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah, this is from this. So there's definitely a nostalgia feel as
Gotcha.
well with mine. And so that's why I was really curious about you, because you'd never seen it.
Nope.
And I was curious. I was wondering if you didn't like it, if it was because maybe there was some nostalgia, but it's very timeless. You know, I definitely think it translates to today's age. You're right. Billy Crystal, I don't think I'd watched it from start to finish in a long ass time. And I'd kind of forgotten just how just gross he was and just, you know, very just opinionated and just not a guy you'd think would ever she'd fall for. And so you're right. That story arc was very great. And she was actually even annoying. And so she actually grew a little bit as it went along. Not quite as much, but she kind of stayed to her true self. And he ended up like appreciating that and loving her for who she was, which was very, very cool.
But don't you like know a guy like that young Billy Crystal that's just like such a fucking know-it-all? It's probably me. But I'm just saying.
I was going to say, I'm looking right at him.
On the
he
character
kills
up
me.
point, one of the things I really like is that like you really buy him as the guy that's right out of college and her as the girl that's right out of college. They're just certain enough about their worldview and just obviously wrong enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then like you can still by the end see those people from the beginning in their characters, but they're so rounded and like so the edges are so taken off. And so for me, like it's a really great job of writing and acting, I think, to like carry that stuff through so they're not totally different people, but you know, they've matured.
And his whole bit about, you know, men and women not being friends, they just can't be friends. That just like sucked me back into time and some of my fraternity brothers, some of the stuff they would say, you know, it's like, dude, you never break up with a girl until you get another girl. Like that kind of mentality type of, you know, he's like just very black and white. It's like, dude, no, you're not going to, you know, move out of your house before you have another house. You got to have someplace to stay, man. You know, using that analogy.
Someplace to park your dick.
That's right, dude. But that was kind of so this guy just right out of college, same kind of feelings like, yeah, guys and girls can't be friends. And so that kind of reminded me of that when I was watching it again. Brad, now you hadn't seen this either?
I had
Ever?
not. I'd never. Like the only thing I knew about it was the orgasm scene. That's the only thing.
Same.
Only thing I knew about this movie. So I was surprised. Like it wasn't what I expected, in both in good and bad ways. So I will say this, that when he starts off as the college guy, the cocky, like he's and the thing I like about that is that it is true. Like he knows how to push her buttons because he's like, I know that type of girl. I can say some shit that's gonna blow her mind, and it's just gonna like, and she's gonna get frustrated. But I know it's worked on many girls before. So you see that he's got that ability at that point. I don't necessarily agree with necessarily his character arc. I mean, I guess we're saying that the one girl that kind of like broke his heart, that kind of like all of a sudden made him super vulnerable. Like I had some problems with the fact that like he loses all his confidence pretty much like towards the end. And that, I don't know. I kind of had a problem with that. I mean, I guess it's kind of the point of the movie.
Bitches will do that, dude.
But it was a fun movie. The weird thing for me, and this is just my stupid brain, is that like it started reminding me, because of the sex talk, it's all about a lot about men and relationships and stuff and sex talk. I realized that I have to think that Kevin Smith liked When Harry Met Sally in some way or another, because it feels like the conversations, there were so many conversations that felt like Kevin Smith style conversations to me. Like of the way the dialogue kind of played back and forth, and it was kind of witty, but it was a very sexual nature. Like it kind of reminded me of that. And I was like,
Yeah, I can see some Clerks, like the Clerks feel of like,
exactly.
it's just a little more raw,
Just
but it has
better
a lot of
actors.
Clerks is a little bit more raw and definitely worse actors. But I mean, obviously as a Kevin Smith fan, I have an affinity for Clerks. So I was kind of like, I know obviously they didn't rip off Kevin Smith because this movie came out first, but it's like, I think I prefer the Kevin Smith. Like it's got to be a little bit more raunchy. And it's like, I didn't even realize this was an R-rated movie. Like I know they talk about sex, and then I was like,
I
of
didn't
course.
realize that was an R-rated movie.
Yeah, of course it has to be an R-rated movie, but it's like, it doesn't necessarily feel like an R-rated movie.
It's a very soft R.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a fuck in
There's
there.
not
They
even
say
a boob,
fuck.
though.
There's no
Not a
There's not
boob.
even one boob.
no sex scenes, no boobs, and I mean, I guess kind of a sex scene.
A
but-
few F words, but
Is there a couple F words?
I know there's one for sure.
yeah, there's actually one that's going to be coming up later.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's like I didn't even pay attention to it as an R-rated movie, and it's like I think I kind of prefer like the more raunchy, like let's go for it R. But yeah, it was interesting. I have some problems with the way it was directed. I have some problems with like
How dare you.
the pacing of it, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So
All right, Kendra, let's hear that. Give us the spiel. Just the long song.
Oh, I don't even know where to start. I've watched this movie, so I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but Walter will make fun of me a lot because he says I like B-rated movies. But that's because my mom, when I grew up a lot, we watched a lot of movies from like the 80s and early 90s, and I just watched all that stuff. So I've seen When Harry Met Sally probably way earlier than I technically should have, but also I just have always liked it. And so it's just been a movie that's always kind of been a pillar in one of the flicks that I've always watched.
One of your comfort movies?
Yeah, like putting the DVD player or the VHS before you go to sleep, and then it's just a wonderful time. But I just love it. I love how much they like challenge each other. I love watching how that works out. I love how terrible they really both are at the very beginning. Like as a person that works in restaurants, like listening to her order food makes me want to punch her in the throat so bad. And like when they're in the restaurant and the lady's like, I'm like, yeah, sure.
My favorite part, there's one scene where it's kind of like a montage and they're like at a Chinese restaurant and the waiter's standing behind them and you don't hear anything or whatever. She's just kind of miming and you see her hands going whatever. And the waiter's looking at her, all of a sudden he just slowly turns his head and looks at Billy Crystal. And Billy's just like, I don't know what to tell you. It's so great.
It is. But yeah, no, it's just, I love so many different parts of it. Carrie Fisher annoys the hell out of me in this movie.
Yeah.
She's terrible.
Her haircut or her?
We could do it buy one, get one.
Okay. All right.
That's fine.
We'll BOGO on the
we
haircut
could do
and her
a BOGO
attitude.
there.
Yeah, because she's like in love with this married man the whole time.
And she pushes it so much and it's so ick. And then she goes for Jess, and Jess is.
But is she? Are you saying that like you hate her character because I think you're supposed to, or is it like you don't? That's a drawback for you?
No, I wouldn't. I think that she's exactly what she's supposed to be. I think that Jess and her are both the least, or like the less admirable versions of both Sally and Harry.
Yep.
You know, and so I think
they're
it's
a copy of a copy of each of them, and it's
the yin and the yang.
So let's geek out for a second in rom-com land.
I'm here for it.
Have you seen? Okay, so have you seen Annie Hall?
Yes, but a long time ago.
So Annie Hall's a Woody Allen film that's often thought of as one of the great comedies, certainly as one of the earliest rom-coms. And there's some real similarities here, right? So it's set in New York, and New York is a huge part of both films.
New York is, you would say, a character in the movie.
Character.
That's what I would say. If I was a shameless cinephile, I would say.
But you like shimmied up to your mic when you said that was the best part.
Brad always says that.
That's my fourth saying.
So
Nate doesn't get that joke.
Why is that? Has that been said on the pod before?
It was just our last episode.
I don't listen to this goddamn show. So is it right to say this is the like beginning of rom-coms? And I looked up a few from the 80s, and none of them feel quite right to me. So Broadcast News is prior to this.
I've not heard that one.
Splash? Is Splash a romantic comedy?
Splash, but like I feel like those movies are so. This is the first one that has like some depth to it, I think. Like Splash is like, oh, she's in a bathtub and now she has a tail and she's.
It's a comedy dressed like a rom-com.
But I think the thing that sets this one apart is that it's like sort of believable, and the characters are very, you know what I mean? The characters are very real. Like there's not super caricature.
Like you know that person. Like you know someone with that person.
So there's some high school rom-coms in the 80s that might be a little like Say Anything, right? Is a classic.
That is a good
one. But I think of that one as more like the high school genre at this time anyway wasn't like straight up rom-com. Now here's one. What about Princess Bride?
See,
that's an action, adventure, fantasy.
Yeah, that's got more
with a little romantic comedy thrown.
I was going to say you didn't say comedy because it's a
like there is romance and there is comedy, but there also is like rodents of unusual sizes.
Yeah,
they actually had no idea how they were going to promote that movie.
No,
yeah. It actually didn't. I don't think it did very well in the theaters because how do we market this? Is this a fantasy? Is this a comedy? Is it,
I've said this before as a kid that I watched that movie for literal 10 years without realizing it was a comedy. Like the jokes were
Yeah.
over my head enough that I was like, oh, it's just a great sword fight
it's
movie.
whimsical, but it comes off as being kind of light, but not funny if you're too young.
I didn't.
It's probably the best romantic comedy that Billy Crystal's in.
Oh my gosh. I see what you're doing there.
Pushing buttons. Sorry, my
romancing
bad.
the stone.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I do love
Again,
the
it-
mudslide.
Adventure. That's like more like action
I agree.
adventure though. Like that.
I
This is
agree with
more
that.
I
like
do
a,
think it's more action.
So I think that all. I mean, my point is, I really do think that like chronologically, this is one of the earliest ones, and I think it changed. Like it creates more of a market. They come out at a more regular clip after this.
So I think like what you're getting at is that there's no other shtick like Romancing the Stone or any of the Princess Bride or any of those other movies where the shtick is that they're on this adventure and they're doing this. It's just their relationship. Their romance is the movie.
The growth of the relationship is the plot.
Exactly.
Right? And so let me ask you this. How important is the friendship element of this, right? Like, because that's the organizing feature of the movie, right? Is from the start, men and women can't be friends, and then they have this friendship that's sort of this unlikely thing, and the question, right, the tension of the whole movie is like, are they gonna become romantic? Is this, is that a good idea? Is it a better idea? So is that element of it part of what makes it great?
I think so.
Speak on your own relationship a little bit, because I feel like it follows the timeline similarly, right? Like you and Walter were like good friends the whole time, but obviously Billy Crystal was right because either one or both of you guys wanted to fuck, for lack of better words, wanted to fuck the whole time, right? So like,
Yeah, essentially. Walter's like, I'm not here now.
I'm just saying, like, it makes it very realistic. Like my wife and
100%.
my wife will tell you like that we were best friends before, and I guess I would tell you too that we were best friends like before we got together. But like, I wanted to fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it was definitely I definitely had like ulterior motives in that friendship. So
I think that, well, as you were saying, I think that there was always a bit of sexual tension, we'll say,
right
with us. And I don't know if you see that in When Harry Met Sally at first, at least from Meg Ryan. Like, I think that Harry would have not cared about Amanda, that's her name, right? Amanda, if Meg Ryan didn't want her to care about, and want him to care about Amanda. But I think that friendship is such a pivotal part, especially to a good relationship. And then, like, you already know all the shitty things about this person. You know all the good things you've had, all the weird, uncomfortable conversations with your buddy and now you just also love that person.
Yeah, you can have fun without the sex being in the way. Like you can have fun and like you just enjoy each other's company without all the hangups of a sexual relationship. And so I think I see that. That's one thing I did appreciate about the movie is it's like it shows the building of a relationship where it's like it's more built on trust and like supporting each other and what is a good relationship? That's all about trust and support of each other. And so if you can do that as friends first and then add the sexual element to it, then it works out. I mean,
yeah, and I think that they do a good job too in the movie of like always showing them trying to understand one another. Like they're always very open to, well, maybe they're not always very open, but they're receptive. And if it's different, they're like confused, but then they come around to it at the end,
yeah.
Like eventually they're ordering food in the restaurant in the beginning of the movie and he can't stand her, and then they go on the double date and he's like, Jess, Sally order food like you didn't even know it could be whatever, here's something like that.
Yeah, he's got a little funny line for it.
Yeah, but I love it.
All right. Any other opening takes?
Real quick, I wanted to mention, you'd mentioned Annie Hall. Was that somebody burping?
Yeah,
I thought it was
It was
you.
somebody's belly. I think it was a belly gurgle.
No, it was my throat gurgling. Not a burp. But it was
Was it a ventrilo burp while I'm talking?
It was a ventriloquist.
Anyway, you'd mentioned Annie Hall, and so I heard that there was a few other actors that were up for the role of Billy Crystal for his part for Harry. Tom Hanks, Richard Dreyfuss, Michael Keaton, and Albert Brooks all turned it down. And I guess Albert Brooks said that he thought it was too much like a Woody Allen movie. He literally said that. So
And Tom Hanks said he thought it was too like it wasn't like there was not, and I don't think the right word is gritty, but he like wanted a little bit more like deeper feeling to it. Like he wanted some like, I think, more emotional moments.
Which apparently, so this movie started with Rob Reiner talking to Nora Ephron, the co-screenwriter, about his recent divorce to Penny Marshall. And apparently she did a bunch of interviews with them. They were just talking about it. And so it was pretty dark, I think, to start with. And then once they got Billy Crystal, he definitely added a bunch of comedy and kind of took it to where it was. So, so maybe after they'd kind of changed it around a little bit, or maybe Tom Hanks, I mean, if he saw like too much comedy in there, they should have gone with the original idea, but...
Well, to your point about the Woody Allen movie, I mean, and I didn't, go down this road too far, but, Woody Allen to me is like the totally insufferable version of Billy Crystal in this movie. Like I cannot stand most Woody Allen. Woody Allen as a character and as an actor, pretty much in any character he takes, I really dislike, and it has nothing to do with him as the person who is basically a pedophile.
Yeah.
Basically,
he's also terrible, and then he's also
he's terrible. He's terrible squared. Yeah. But it's also like it's such a. Annie Hall is such a whinier movie, and like such a more. It's like the embodiment of New York pretension and kind of like, singularism in Annie Hall, whereas this one, New York, is much more of a character in the film in a good way. You know what I mean?
Well, and you can relate to the people in When Harry Met Sally so much more.
Well, and it feels more like discussions rather than like, I think Woody Allen comes across as like monologues, where it's like, it's a monologue. He's talking to the audience rather than talking to a person, whereas this movie feels like they're kind of people talking to each other.
Well, like the batting cage scene where like, the two are in there and it's like, it's so fast and it like reveals a mindset and like a perspective at that moment without having to say very many words, right? Because it's the dialogue and not the monologue.
Are we believing a left-handed Billy Crystal as a guy that can swing a baseball bat? I thought it was
his
pretty fucking
swings were
good.
decent, yeah.
he's a big baseball fan.
Yeah,
big baseball guy.
He's always been a big baseball guy, and his swings look decent.
Both of them didn't take their hand off of the bat in the follow through. I thought that like maybe they should do a little King Griffey.
It's pre-Pujols.
Okay,
so,
all right.
I just love that scene because here's Billy Crystal kind of is like doing this whole spiel and talking about this and that, and he mentions that he made a girl meow, and so pretty much Bruno Kirby doesn't listen to anything else he says. He's like, "You made a woman meow?"
He's just stuck on that.
That's just something that we would do with our
That's
friends.
also so Jess's character.
Exactly.
Too. Like
Well,
that's 100% that character.
I was about to like critique the scene because it's like they're hitting baseballs and all of a sudden they like stop and they're just talking to each other. I'm like, wait a second, like did the machine just stop pitching to them? But then they both go at the same time and put their quarters in. So they're synchronized. So it's like it's going to be pitching at the same time. So they're synchronized with how many balls they're going to get. So
I like how the little kid comes up and wants his turn. He's like, "I got a whole stack of quarters now. Hit first."
Fuck you, little kid.
Right? And then they like talk shit and both walk away.
All right. Well, I think it's time for us to bring in Rob. Isn't he the director?
Rob Reiner.
I was like, is someone else here?
No, it's his dad,
Carl.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hey, who's Carl Reiner?
God, let's not again, please.
Carl Hungus.
Pull up a chair and grab yourself a drink. We'll hypothesize what directors think. Maybe sometimes get a guess. Makes us look good. Let's drink, laugh, and pretend we know what we're doing. Drinking with the director, brought to you by Last Call Brewing.
I love that.
Telling you, man, my next job is going to be the guy the hype man in the mariachi band.
I love it.
That's all I do. I don't play an instrument. I don't sing. Just every about 2-3 minutes.
All right, we're here with the figment of our imagination, Rob Reiner, and you look kind of like Rob Reiner. Didn't I want to tell you that?
We brought him in before.
Is he a live person? Is he alive?
Yeah, he's still around.
He's still alive.
Like
what about Carl?
same beard and
His
bald
dad
head.
died not too long ago.
Yeah, I got a little more salt and pepper going, so I'm getting closer to him.
Yeah,
His
We're all getting old.
second appearance on the
That's
actually
right.
no, we kicked his ass out and we brought in Christopher Guest, didn't we?
Did we do that? I don't
think so.
remember. Oh yeah, for Spinal Tap.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
All right. So
The thing is, like, I think I had a few on my list of movies. I think, like, out of my 5 next movies I want to do, like 4 of them are Rob Reiner movies. So I just
Really?
something about this guy.
Wow.
Yeah,
No wonder you try to like style yourself after him.
I know.
Is there a shrine? Look for the shrine.
I know. Shut up.
all right. So we got some questions for Rob. But first, what are we all drinking? What are you drinking, Brad?
So, my friends at Last Call Brewing, they just celebrated their 9-year anniversary.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they did. And they brought out 3 new delicious beers, a couple collaborations, as well as
This one is not one.
the beer I'm drinking tonight is not a collaboration, but it is a delicious hazy IPA called Haze Potion Number 9. This is the 9th anniversary.
Are we sure it's not 9 different breweries that collaborated to?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Isn't it 9 different lines
Walter's
of code?
nodding, I think. I'm not sure. Like what?
ChatGPT had 9 different lines of code that he put into there.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it was. He put in 9 preferences for
I
this
thought you said
beer,
9
so that
different
the
lines.
AI would.
Let's see how
create
red. See how red we can make Walter. He's just sitting there, just fucking steaming right now.
Honestly, Walter, there was an article I just saw that was talking about breweries that are now using ChatGPT to like help them brew beers. It's
I
like,
think you sent it to me, actually.
I did.
I'm pretty sure you sent it to me. 'cause
I was
read
probably
it.
drunk and
Drunk
I said,
texting Brad.
I heard about this today.
Check this out.
And Walter raged through his phone in the toilet.
"Fuck this shit! I could have been the first."
So this is the only anniversary beer release that isn't a collaboration.
It's delicious.
Yeah, Haze Potion number 9 for 9 years. 9 years of being open. And the name sounded cool and it had a groovy idea for the label, so it all kind of fit together.
The label is sick.
And in honor of the 9th anniversary of Last Call Brewing, I think I drank 9 of those that night. So yeah,
Probably.
As you should.
yeah, it was great.
It's got a like a sort of like really 70s sort
Psychedelic.
Of, yeah, it's super cool.
I thought a little bit of Austin Powers. It's got
Yep.
kind of that
Yeah,
little
for sure.
vibe, that laugh-in 70s.
that 70s show.
Yeah.
So Scott, tell me not only what you're drinking, but what you're drinking it in.
Yeah, because what I'm drinking really is secondary. I'm just going to kind of give a spin of talking
Oh
here so
my
everybody can just
goodness.
enjoy this.
Oh,
and
snap a picture.
Oh yeah, Nate will
Click.
snap a picture. Let me spin it around here. I'm drinking Deschutes out of Oregon is one of my favorite breweries. That isn't Last Call. Sorry, Walter. And Black Butte Porter is one of my all-time favorites. And this is not Black Butte Porter. This is their Obsidian Stout that I'd never tried.
That was a great transition.
Because I wanted to buy 2 6-packs of Black Butte and they only had one, and they had the Obsidian sitting there, and I was like, shit, I haven't tried their stout yet, so I'm trying it, and it's okay. It's not as good as Black Butte, but I am drinking it out of a brand new, beautiful glass that has Bev's Video Kingdom logo on the side.
Hey Scott, where would I find one of those if I wanted to buy one and support the show?
I am so glad you asked, Zach. If you guys go to scotchbeck.com right now, you can go on there and you can order up as many of these as you want. And you can also get t-shirts. We have some wine tumblers on there. I got a coffee mug. And, they're
while
made
you're
to order.
there, grab a shirt with Scotch Beck's face on it.
If you want to grab one of my shit too, go ahead. But scotchbeck.com, we're selling our stuff through there as well.
We're gonna start advertising on the socials. So if you follow us on Instagram or Facebook, thumb through the posts, and it'll be somewhere there. So find it.
All right.
You scroll with your thumbs?
I do.
What do
both
you
of them,
scroll with
yeah.
your nose?
You don't want to know. I scroll.
Depends on what he's looking at.
I actually I sent Nate a text the other day that was all fucked up, and I was like, I typed that with my dick. All right.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Love Potion number 9. Haze Potion number 9. It's fucking
I
delicious.
feel like
Get
you
mad
have to
about
sing
it.
it when you say it.
Love Potion number 9. That was a jam. My dad used to play
beautiful.
that song quite a bit.
Yeah, that's where the inspiration for the name came from, obviously, and that is available at our tap room in cans and on draft, along with our 2 other anniversary releases. One with Around the Horn Brewing from Groveland, we did a pastry sour, and one with the other 2 breweries in Oakdale, Dying Breed and Grains of Virtue, a triple West Coast IPA. We're open 7 days a week. Come down and grab some beer.
Last Call Brewing. All right, Kendra, what do you got?
I'm drinking some Templeton whiskey.
Oh, girl, right? Is that the rye?
It is. It's delicious.
Templeton?
Ice or no ice?
I did no ice.
No
I went to
ice,
Chico,
no Coke,
guys.
no grenadine.
No ice?
Hardcore.
Did you say no grenadine?
No grenadine, no ice.
Can I tell you that I almost the other night, my wife and I were like, gonna have a drink, and she's like, "Let's just do whiskey," And I was like, "Okay." So we threw ice cube in, and we do whiskey, and like I literally picked up the grenadine bottle and almost just like went, and I was like, "No, this isn't what I don't know." It's just instinct, I just can't help it.
It's like a smoker's little addiction. You need the
just
grenadine.
Like drop it in there with
Well,
the straight.
I was wondering, were you drinking when you were like, "Dude, we got to get a grenadine sponsorship"?
Oh yeah, I did say that.
Were you drinking?
No,
That's a very sober thought.
Start sending links.
If you have a grenadine company, and please reach out. I'm going to try to get us a sponsor.
We would be a great sponsor for that.
I want to give one quick little shout out again to the governor. He's been on the show a few times and he's a listener as well. So his son is wanting to learn how to play guitar, and so they came over. Was that last week? And he wanted me to show him some stuff while he was in town. He's going away to college, and he asked me how much I charge, and I told him. He shows up, he gives me the money. He also brought a bottle of scotch. It was an Aberfeldy 12. Very, very good. And I just wanted to give a shout out to the governor for bringing it.
Look at that.
So,
Dig the Govs.
Yep.
Sick. You show his kid a G chord?
I showed him a G chord, a D chord, and C chord.
G, D, E minor, C, and fucking he's off to the
There you go.
races.
That's all you
He'd be
need.
like, every song now, bro.
All right, so I'm drinking Diet Pepsi, and you guessed it, Rosa's grenadine. We're drinking with the director.
No whiskey?
No, not tonight.
Okay.
I
gotcha.
had kind of a rough night last night.
All right.
So
He has to drive me home.
kind of a rough night before that. It's been a rough stretch here. I'm trying to keep it together. All right. So what do we got? What do we got for Robbie?
I want to first bring up, I think, which stands out to me, and I think this is a symptom of 80s movies and maybe even in the 90s as well. I think Hollywood's intentionally tried to change this, but he's 40, she's 28 when they start filming this movie. So they're both playing college age, and I mean, it's a 12-year age difference.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me wonder, like, what was the issue here? Like, why they just want to fit a 40-year-old guy into playing the college dude, or is it just like he kind of can do, he's the tweener where he can kind of do that, or
He's gonna be 40 for most of the movie, or like 30 something for most of the movie, right?
Yeah.
So all you got to do is make him, for the first two scenes, look believably somewhere close to some. I mean, and just because he was in college, right? That doesn't mean he was 18. He could have been 25 or whatever.
Right.
Or I
Could
thought
have been
they
in college
did
for 7 years, like me.
I think they talk about being the same age though at some point. I don't know. I feel like
I thought they did a decent job of making him look like sort of young.
I mean, Ben Stiller, there's something about Mary. He plays a high school dude, and I mean, it semi works. So
It works. In
So your comment is, why didn't they find a different actor to play him just for that scene, or why didn't they find a college age kid then and make him look 40 later?
I'm just saying, why aren't the actors the same age? Like, why isn't it?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You don't think, but so I guess I think my thought is that Meg Ryan has a little bit of a like look of like at 28 she looks like she could be in her early to mid 30s, and he is a little bit of a young looking 40. So I actually think it has less, like, you're not supposed to believe that a much older man is with a much younger woman. Like I never watched the movie and think like, well, they're obviously a different ages. If you had asked me what ages were they when they started filming this, how far apart were they, I would have said, I don't know, 3 or 4 years.
The fact that
didn't
she's
know.
like 2 inches taller than him
Yeah.
the whole time. Is a little bit disconcerting.
That's why they didn't film a basketball scene.
I think what it really comes down to is the fact that they had a hard time casting the role. Sounds like 4 guys passed on it, and then Rob Reiner and Billy Crystal are friends, and they were friends in real life already. And so he's like, "Hey, here's my buddy," and shit, we'll just have to make him try to look young. I think they did a great job. The haircut.
I think
good.
Meg Ryan though doesn't look. She still seems young throughout the whole movie. And I think that kind of does the movie disservice a little bit. Like, I feel like you mentioned earlier that she doesn't seem to kind of evolve as much. And I feel like it's because it's a younger girl trying to play like an older woman. And I think there's something like her and Carrie Fisher don't seem like good friends. Like, it's like Carrie Fisher seems more mature and older, and Meg Ryan seems like a little girl kind of compared to her. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm a Meg Ryan guy, so I'm going to disagree with you just on that. And I know you're not a Meg Ryan guy. Yeah, he just gave me a shrug.
Scott, do you know Billy Crystal? He was a stand-up before this?
Well, yeah, I mean,
SNL.
yeah.
SNL. Oh, okay.
Stand-up. I don't know if he's only a stand-up or he did both acting and stand-up at the same time, but yeah, he's done a lot of stand-up stuff.
Gotcha.
So I have a couple of criteria that are, I think, my core evaluations for a romantic comedy. Like, I wouldn't say this is the only factors, but these are the first two things that I look for. So one thing that for me will always kill a rom-com is if I don't believe the pace of the development of the relationship. It's like, that's my number one rom-com killer. So if you think of movies where we're supposed to believe that these people like have developed this really deep and meaningful relationship, but they've known each other for like 2 weeks. I mean, that's a kind of connection, right? I'm not saying it's not, but if they misrepresent that in some way, I'm immediately put off by it. And so this for me is like the total antidote to that. One of my single favorite thing about the movie is the pacing of the relationship and the believability, even separate from the kind of friendship element as much as you can separate it. I love the fact that you get to see these people come and go into each other's lives for a period of time and then really start to get to know each other, and you buy it that it's over this really long.
Because it's like 13 years or something like that, right? From the beginning to wherever they end.
Yeah. So I think that's one of them. The second is I actually really dislike the cardboard nature of a lot of rom-com characters. Like, you know, it's sort of, they're very flat. They're not very flawed. If they're flawed, their flaws feel like they're like, you know, shoehorned in some way. And one of the comments earlier was that you know, they're both kind of shitty in the beginning, like in their own ways, like in kind of in a believable way. You know, it's like they're college students, so you know you forgive them, but they also have their own neuroses throughout the movie, right? I mean, it's not like they ever are these characters that sort of this perfect, you know, picture perfect characters. And for me, that's part of what you like, right? I want someone that's charming but believable as a person. And those two things, like, you know, I don't know if any movie does it better than this one. The one I've talked about a lot that I really like in this way is Sleeping with Other People, which is a more like kind of off the beaten path, but more recent one. It has a similar flow, right? They meet in college, they kind of come back. I mean, it's very, very, you know, Harry Met Sally-ish because it also has the Friends element. So it's almost a little bit of a ripoff.
Definitely Maybe is kind of like that too, in a way, kind of going over time and but with different love interests, of course.
Which is one of the reasons I really like that movie,
Right.
despite Brad's hating on it and all y'all assholes.
Did you ever see the movie, I think it's called A Lot Like Love? It's got Ashton Kutcher and Amanda Peet. Of
that's
course
one of
you
the
do.
sneakiest
Because that is
rom-coms.
almost like you took the outline of Harry Met Sally and threw it on Ashton Kutcher and
You
Amanda
totally
Peet.
did, and they're so charming in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you.
Although I do think that she's probably older than him in that.
I think she is.
Definitely. I'm glad you brought that up. What happened to Amanda Peet?
She probably didn't get all the weird stuff in her face and then just fell off the planet.
She had a short run, but she was in a
Beautiful
lot
lady.
of stuff for a short
Beautiful
period of
lady.
time, and yeah, she just didn't.
Well,
Saving Silverman.
That movie was awful.
Funny enough.
She is so great in that.
Dope movie.
She's good, but that movie sucks.
What
Wow! Wow!
Wow!
What's the lady?
Oh my
What's the
God,
lady
that movie
that he
is
likes in Saving
amazing.
Silverman?
Saving Silverman is
What's
amazing.
the one that he,
the main,
the
bro.
chick.
the main chick that's not the freaking
Yeah.
the like actual love
Yeah.
interest.
She's
That's
not
the
like a
shitty
super popular
girlfriend.
name.
Who's the shitty girlfriend?
Yeah, with the curly hair. She's
Well,
the nun.
She's from Chico.
Oh,
And
for
so
real? Oh,
she
really?
always used to come into the sushi bar I used to work at. And then she got a DUI, I think.
Oh, derailed.
So
Wow, wow, wow.
Amanda Peet is
Amanda Dittmer. That's
Amanda
her name
Peet.
in the real life.
Amanda Peet is in Sleeping with Other People.
Okay.
Right?
Speaking of where she's at, but you said whatever happened to her, she's in.
Oh, that's
a
like a
lot like
2015.
Love.
That's like a 2015 movie, right? Sleeping with Other people.
Not
Not too long ago.
or so. Yeah,
Okay,
maybe
so maybe
more
she's
recent.
still working.
Yeah, she's still in and out.
She's
of
probably
stuff.
on the CW or something, and we just don't know it.
Yeah, she's probably like
Shout out Amanda Peet.
If we look it up right now, she's probably in like some big show. And it's like, oh, fuck. I guess we don't watch
I will
that.
look it out. Well, you talk.
She
talk
plays a
amongst yourselves.
grandma
All right,
on
I-
NBC.
I got a couple other questions too, and one of them really. I think this is an instrumental conversation. Is the orgasm scene completely out of character for Sally?
Yeah.
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 Because she's so controlled and she's in like, I think that's the awesome part about their relationship is he's freaking wild and she is a little like square. And so they kind of like pull that from each other.
But did they go too far in that scene? Like it's like she's so confident about it, and she doesn't act like, oh shit, I just did that. Like she just is like, fuck yeah, I just fucking orgasmed in front of all these people.
Because I think that's part of her like story curve. I think that's when she starts kind of like being more comfortable in the mess that is.
But she went 0 to 60. Like there was no like in between. It was like,
there was.
I'm gonna do the craziest thing.
Because he's bringing that out of her. Right. Because he's the guy that grabs the karaoke machine in the store and fucking sings in front of everybody.
Oklahoma.
He's the guy that freaking does voices and all that stuff. And she like is willing to do that with him and kind of come out of her box, right? That's kind of the cool thing about what he does for her.
She does that so competently though. Like she does it with like something that she's done before many times. Like she just like afterwards she just looks at him like
a lot of fucking orgasms.
She might have faked a lot of orgasms.
Yeah, she's had a lot of shitty sex.
And she's also probably tired about hearing how great he is in bed, because that's pretty much what he tries to say the first half of the movie.
So
I don't know. It kind of threw me off.
It's interesting that you feel this way and sense this, because that was actually something that wasn't originally added to the script. And as they were making the film, apparently they realized she didn't have a lot of funny things. Like she was just more of a straight part of it. She didn't have any laughs really. And so somebody threw up the idea of the orgasms or whatever. And she's like, all right, let's do it. And apparently they take after take after take. She had to do that like for hours.
That sounds terrible.
Which, yeah, I mean, but so yeah, it was definitely something that's kind of shoehorned in.
It for hours.
And they used take two.
Right.
Sounds like Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
God.
But what's really great about that, something I would want to know from Rob Reiner is how does he feel about pretty much cementing his own mother in just film lore with one of the greatest lines of any
his
comedy?
mom?
That's his mom.
Oh, what she's having.
I'll have what she's having.
That's Carl Reiner's wife.
That's Carl's wife, right?
Yeah.
Carl's wife, yeah. Which is
That's
Rob
awesome.
Reiner's.
Is Carl Reiner is Rob Reiner's dad?
God, let's not.
This is one of the jokes that I just don't get. Like there's like inside jokes on the show, and most of them I get. This is one that I just
It was one of my favorites of all time.
I think it was Spinal Tap, and I think you were late for that one. And so I think we had this whole thing.
Scotch and I's eyes met like when he was
Nate didn't know
confused. We were like, wait,
Rob
what?
Reiner and Carl Reiner.
When you guys are talking about 70s shit, my eyes just glaze over, and I don't know what the fuck you're talking
That's because
about.
you're like 13.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah. So it's crazy because like when Estelle Reiner passed away, in the article they just pretty much mentioned it's the lady who said this line. That was like her legacy was this amazing line, which is listed in some top 100 lines of all time, ranked super high, and then
As it should be.
in that diner that actually exists, there's a sign.
It hangs above the table. I've been there. Yeah.
Okay, you've been there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it says, "We hope you're having what she had," and said they sat here.
Oh, that's awesome.
I went and faked an orgasm at the table. It was amazing.
I wonder how many people have.
Oh, geez, so many people.
How annoying would that be?
I bet we can look up on YouTube right now. There's probably like 17,000.
They should have like a food comp. You know how they have that at different restaurants? Like the best fake orgasm gets like, yeah,
Free steak.
Mine was really quick.
Bone
and
in.
Mine was kind of subtle. I was like,
And really quick. Nate was going for ultra realism.
Another fun cameo was Tracy Reiner. His daughter is also in this. He's Billy Crystal's girlfriend when they're playing Pictionary.
Oh, Debbie? What is it?
No,
Debbie, the cake?
She's the cake lady. Yeah.
I thought it was.
She's
She's got like his hand. She's got her hand on his shoulder as they're playing the game.
She's in the League of Their
It's
Own.
like Aunt
she's
Debbie or Aunt.
She's also in Apollo 13, so she's kind of in a few things here and there.
Okay.
Baby fish mouth. Baby fish mouth.
That scene is so funny.
I love
We were
That was a
It's
laughing
solid
out
baby
game.
loud.
talk.
That was a
It's
solid
very
game scene.
obviously baby talk.
Oh, my wife said it within like 5 seconds. Like before, I was like,
Yeah.
I was.
But you know
oh my
what?
God, I was
That's
like,
such a
God, she
fucking Jess
sucks
move
so
to be
hard.
like, baby fish mouth.
he's like, fucking draw something else. I
Yeah.
don't know anything.
She's like, no. Dumb. I'm not going to.
Another question. They at one point are talking about a baseball game, and Billy Crystal says, "I was
she
at."
doesn't even like baseball.
No, it was something about a Met game. And I was so confused. I was like, why wouldn't you say Mets game? Or like a Mets game. He says Met game.
This is the most Brad comment that
I know,
you could have
it is
on the fucking
100%.
show. I
It's-
don't like this movie because they didn't pluralize Mets.
But it was just being a New York movie, it made me confused.
I
Like,
actually-
do people in New York say like, oh, I was at the Met game?
I think so. I don't think that's
versus the
incorrect.
Mets game.
I thought he's going to say, why is he talking about the Mets when we know he's a Yankees fan? He's wearing a Yankees hat. And
Based on my extensive viewing of Friends, Joey is a really big Mets fan, and he gets very mad when they don't pluralize it.
Oh, Brad.
Oh, okay.
So Brad, your closet.
Because he says that he likes the guy. He took us to a Met game or something.
Oh, Bruno Kirby said
Bruno
that.
Kirby
That's
says
right.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, he's talking about the Sally's boyfriend.
He might have just dropped the line. Who knows?
Okay.
Interesting.
I just that's fucking. You know my stupid brain.
Brad and Joey Tribbiani very upset about pluralizing that.
I was at the Giant game. Like that sounds fucking stupid.
The Giant game?
Yeah, I went to a Giant.
It
game.
was a giant game.
Did you see the Warrior game? That actually kind of works.
People say that though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That actually kind of works.
Dude, I go to the Dodger game.
Yeah.
Ew. Well, that's your
Really?
fault. That's your fault.
Just
I don't
sir.
pluralize
disgusting
it.
on its own, even if
Yeah.
it's not plural. Fucking gross.
You guys are in my house, remember?
Sometimes
You know, like when I was at the 49er game and they beat Seattle.
Oh, yeah, you got it 3 times this year, babe. The record is still 17-8. Let's fucking go.
It's Seattle's. I hate it when you don't fucking pluralize Seattle's.
Kendra is a big Seahawks fan, and
She
I
is.
did not text and be
Kendra.
mean at all
No.
when the 49ers did some damage to
It's
them
okay. You
on
only are,
multiple occasions.
I knew. I was just waiting for something shitty to come out about Kendra, and we just found it. There it is. Hadn't
I
happened
actually
yet.
think that it's one of my most endearing qualities.
that you're a
no,
Seahawks
she's
fan?
hardcore though. She is legit. Like she'll
So,
take you to school on like
I-
draft picks and shit like that.
We had a problem at the anniversary party. We didn't have a problem, but people thought that I had a problem because while I was sitting at the anniversary party, I found out that we re-signed Bobby Wagner, and I about lost my
She
shit
was
and
running
ran
around
out of.
high-fiving people.
I was on my phone. I was like, "Do you know what happened? Do you know what happened?" And all my friends are staring.
You were
at
happy
me.
about that?
Absolutely.
Didn't they sign him just so that he could retire as a Seahawk?
No, he's
Seahawks?
gonna play all. Listen, I know that we have a good friendship blooming, but you better sit down.
He's a Niner fan too.
No, I know.
You
that's
seemed
okay.
so cool. Oh
I
my
am
God.
cool.
All right.
Hey, she came over to our house for the Cardinals Niners game, and she was basically rooting for Comets to hit the stadium. It was terrible.
Oh yeah.
I was just rooting for no, because I love DeAndre
Can they both
Hopkins.
lose?
I'm a big D Hop fan.
Are we back from the sports talk radio or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry.
Okay. So
Sorry, let's get back to the romantic
My
comedy,
favorite
guys. My
part
bad.
was when Meg
Did you-
Ryan went out on a date with D Hop.
Oh my God.
Wouldn't that have been a fucking twist?
That's like my don't
How
tell Walter, but
int-
he's my football.
Shut up. He's built
Love
like
him.
Snoop Dogg. He's like freaking Spider-Man with like
Snoop.
alien dreads.
dude, he's huge. What
Are you a Clemson football fan? Is like I mean,
What is
I just-
happening right now?
He's huge.
But I also do love.
D Hop?
yes,
He's a skinny motherfucker.
dude. He's like 6'4" and like
And
I think you're
skinny,
talking about DK.
6'4", 160.
DK?
DK is a specimen.
DK is a
DK.
Beefsteak.
Hopkins is big, dude.
I'm a straight
He's kind of
man.
skinny though.
All right,
I see that.
DK is my love.
We have to
DK could
okay,
get it.
I'm done with this shit.
Anyway, sorry, yeah.
I got sucked in.
We're talking about romance, okay? We're talking about
All right,
romance.
here's the question for the table. So everybody here is at least 50% or greater straight, heterosexual. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good.
That's the rumor.
So, have you ever had a friend that was a woman, or in Kendra's case, a man, that legitimately was somebody who was like you really liked them as a friend? They were really legitimately your friend, and you really had no interest in sleeping with them.
See, that's one of the things that I love so much about this movie, and Walter can attest to it too, is that through most of my life, I've had predominantly male friends.
And you didn't want to sleep with all of them.
No, I've slept with very few of them.
I didn't
This
say you,
lucky rascal.
I didn't say you had. I'm
No,
saying.
but I mean, Nate, if I wanted to, it would have happened.
So this is a two-way street, though. This is a great conversation because
Yeah.
just because you didn't necessarily want to sleep with them doesn't mean they didn't want to sleep with
fair.
you.
Okay.
Fair.
How many of them do you think really of the ones that you didn't want to sleep with? How many do you think
99%.
I would guess at the end of the day, it was probably 50-50.
that half of them did and half of them didn't?
She's being
I would
humble.
guess. I would guess.
Guys are scummy.
Okay, so it was like
Well,
so it
yeah,
was like
I mean-
98 too. Got it.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't really know, but nobody really ever. I mean, there was a handful of people that were my friends that tried to do something weird, and we were like, no. But nobody really has ever done that to me.
handful tried to
I'm
get
probably
you.
afraid.
Okay, Zach, what do you think?
No, for sure. I think that you can have acquaintances that you're not really interested in, but I mean, you have to like
Well, what defines friend? Like
it depends
how
on like
close do
the
you have
real,
to be?
like they're talking on the phone for hours. Like those people want to fuck. You
Well,
know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, okay,
Like if you're
okay.
having like long phone conversations, you don't do that with. You know what I mean? That's just not a thing. Long phone conversation. If you're fucking telling somebody that your significant other or whatever that like this means nothing, I just have like 3-hour phone conversations at night. by
Okay,
myself
but-
with this
all right,
person.
well, okay,
But
but
these
you're
people
alone.
are single when they're having these phone conversations.
No, I know that's fine. That doesn't matter.
But I'm saying
They still want to fuck.
But let's back up. Okay, that's an extreme version. I'm not saying like your best friend. I'm saying a woman that you're like, we're friends. Like we might talk on the phone once in a while. We might hang out. But
you got to
like,
make the distinction whether or not you're talking about like the animalistic, like male female urge to freaking procreate because that person's an attractive person and they have, wide hips and large breasts that makes you want to have sex with them or whatever it is. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there's things that
I think you're being pretty clear. Wide hips, large breasts, big bang.
I mean,
You
I'm not
lost
saying
me
that
there.
you want to like freaking like. I'm just saying that
Carrie
like,
Fisher broke it down though. She did say she's like, oh, she's got big tits and like
she's tall with big tits. Your worst
Yeah.
fucking nightmare. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Scotty.
I think it really the thing that really depends on is if you're single or not. Obviously, when you're single and there's an attractive woman, you're friends with them. You like Zach was saying, you have that animalistic urge and that feeling. She's attractive, she's sexy. You're single, she's single. There's definitely that thing, and there's also the weird thing of like if you're too close of friends, do you want to screw it up by making a move? That's a whole complicated thing that I had a friend all through growing up or whatever, and I never wanted to cross that boundary because I always thought it would screw it up, and I didn't want to screw up the friendship.
But that's a different answer. That's a different like question to
Like, you
answer.
still
Like
wanted
it's
to
not like you don't
fuck
want
her.
to. You don't want to risk everything. But like if you're asking like, would it be enjoyable to
Yeah.
have sex with that person?
or have you
Right.
thought about it?
You know what I
like
mean?
Right.
If
have
there
you
were no
fantasized about it?
consequences and they didn't even know about it, even.
Yeah, that's
Things just got real dark.
Sorry, Bill Cosby just entered the chat.
And or Woody Allen.
oh Jesus.
but and I definitely think it's also something that kind of changes over time, with age and maturity. And but when you're in your fucking 20s and your hormones are raging, it's like I'm with Billy Crystal on that. At that age that he was, I think it's very difficult to be just friends with somebody. But now you're older, you're wiser, and you know that shit that might fuck things up. And even if you're attractive,
And I feel like it's important too, because a lot of my like male friends predominantly I've had for anywhere from 7 to 15 years. So we've like gone back and forth and like distance and come back and gone through all the weird shit, seen all the psychos that each of us have dated and laughed. And I don't know. I think I'm weird because I have a lot of dude friends that I spend a good amount of time on the phone with. Various friends do those. It's not that weird.
I'll kind of back that up because like I didn't have sisters growing up, so I just had my brother and I had a couple like guy cousins. So it was like we were just doing guy shit, and then it's like I found a few girls that kind of became like my sister, where it's like that was the relationship, and they were attractive people, and it was just like, you know what, I didn't think of them in a sexual nature. It was more like they're a sister that like I care about, and
Zach
I
calls
see people
bullshit.
shaking their head, but it is
saying
not
anything.
bullshit whatsoever. It's just like it was more like we know everything about each other, and we've been through a bunch of things together, and
get it.
you're my sister, and it's just like I don't think of you in a sexual nature whatsoever, and I think you can have those situations.
So I've got I would say that I can think of two, and I wouldn't say sister. Like I think sister kind of like covers it up a little bit because like that makes it so that. But I mean, I think I would think of two that I think of as over my life I've thought of as friends, maybe not super close friends, but close enough friends that I'm like, yeah, like I know her. We're a lot of affection for one another. We would definitely, occasionally, say hi, talk on the phone, but not somebody that I ever really thought about in that way, right?
Which is also possible, but I'm still saying it's a two-way street. That doesn't mean they haven't thought about you. So they're the ones that maybe were pursuing the relationship a little bit harder and all of that.
I assume they all want to have sex with me.
We know
that's that
criteria.
it's one of the hallmarks of your
That's
personality.
that deep voice confidence.
Well, funny, and so you guys were talking about your own relationships. Like my wife and I, it's totally the opposite. We just wanted to bang and try not to like each other very much. It didn't work out.
Now here we are.
You know, it's like, geez,
Kids.
2 kids later.
Pets.
That was a failure. You know what I mean?
That not liking her very much didn't work out very well.
Can we talk real quick, just not to completely change stuff, but can we talk fashion in this movie for just
Yes.
a second?
Sure.
Meg Ryan
Because there's
kills it.
a couple things I want to talk about specifically. First, we cannot start. We have to start with Jess and the jorts.
Her shorts in the very beginning.
No, Jess. and
Oh,
the
Jess's
Bruno
shorts.
Kirby.
Yes.
The Bruno Kirby jorts are
first
just so legit. And then my favorite scene in this entire movie, 100% my favorite scene in this entire movie, 2 men power walking in spandex. And Billy Crystal's got the like the little like whatever those
The
socks
hips
are.
move so much.
And they are doing the whole. I mean, this has to be just an '80s trend or something.
My
'Cause
wife
it is
has those
the
same
most
leggings.
Ridiculous. Yeah, but why does he have leggings? What do
Leggings
people
were-
think that does? Like, does that give you extra power?
Fashion is cyclical, bro. I mean, you got to think about the heat that was generated by his thighs. The way that he was fucking just fucking swinging that ass back and forth. dude.
2
'Cause
men
he was
power walking.
swinging it.
He was
And they're both
swinging it.
into it. I mean, I know Bruno Kirby's like huffing and puffing a little bit more than Billy Crystal is, but
With the
they are
headbands.
hardcore power walking. And
They
I was like,
played it
was
so
that a
straight.
fucking thing in the late
Yeah,
80s?
100% it was a
Yeah.
thing.
Like that was
Oh,
the
yeah.
fad. Like,
That's how you burn calories,
hey,
bro.
Hey, bro, let's go do some power walking.
Get your mustache ready. Put on your leggings. Let's fucking go.
Put on your
Swing
spandex
ass.
and
Yeah.
then your leggings.
So that means we're not going power walking tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm done. After I
can't
watched this
even-
movie, I was like, "Is that what it looks like?" Because I'm not doing that anymore with you, Nate.
I'm power. I thought we were.
just need to
I thought we
swing
did
your
that
hips.
every Wednesday.
I'd start a fucking forest fire in those fucking leggings, bro. It would be a lycra fucking inferno.
That sounds terrible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and you want to talk about Meg Ryan's fashion? I didn't pay too much attention. I was
There's
pretty
some-
much just
the coats,
obsessed with jorts.
She's
and-
got these shoulder pads.
Shoulder pads, definitely.
Yeah,
And
that's
the,
an
her
idiot.
jacket game in that entire movie is on point.
The very first
hats
scene,
get weird.
The very first scene, her hair is just on fucking point to me. Like her bangs are just fucking wild.
Well, that was the Farrah
And
Fawcett.
she
That
had
was
that-
the
oh, dude.
Farrah Fawcett look for
Oh,
sure.
whatever look it was, I was into it. And then she got out of the car and she had like the below the knee length shorts going on. That I was just like, what is happening?
Let's not forget the first New Year's with the like blue velvet off the shoulder dress.
Oh, we can get down with that.
It's a good dress.
Yeah, we can get down
So
with
funny that you saw on your hats comment. So I had a buddy that would for years he was like, dude, I have a rule. Like I won't date any woman that has more than like 3 hats that she regularly wears, or has more than 5 rings across both hands.
that. Oh,
And he was like, what she'll regularly wear. And then like 3 years later, you know, he starts dating this girl, and he's like, bro, don't tell her either of my rules.
I can get down with the rings, but I pretty much universally do not like a woman in a hat. I'm such a hair guy that I just like hair.
I'm with you. There once in a while a baseball cap will work for me, but it's pretty rare.
If you have like an afro, maybe I could get down with it because it's just like so much big curly hair. But I don't know, dude.
Can we cut that?
I didn't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying you could wear a hat and it would be kind of cute if it was like sticking out. Your hair was like sticking out all around the hat.
Yeah, like Homie the Clown.
No. Nate, Homie the Clown's bald, bro.
Yeah, he's got a bald cap on.
Hey, final
More
thought.
hats.
Final thought before maybe we let old Rob get out of here. Is Meg Ryan a terrible actress when it comes to crying?
Yes.
That
Really?
crying scene seemed
Yes.
so unbelievable to me.
good, yeah.
It was just so forced. She's just like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. It was just like, it felt really,
She's not a good crier
took
in
me out of
any
the
of her
moment.
movies,
It
though.
took me out of the
That's like a cross.
Actually,
That's a Meg Ryan
I say
thing.
Top Gun. It's the best crying she ever does.
Oh, yeah.
that's not bad.
Yeah.
When the goose
Yeah.
bites it.
When the
That
goose
was
is
legit.
cooked.
When the goose.
When he
Watch your poor mouth.
Oh, vicious.
Yeah. No, she's not.
You're right.
She's not good.
You know, what's so funny is I didn't
At
even think
that.
about it at the time, and now I'm thinking about the scene in my brain. Yeah, she's not great.
I thought her I'm sad and I'm crying and oh wait, he's gonna kiss me, he kissed me and now I'm happy was like pretty good. I thought her transition from like
Yeah, but she's not ugly
sad to
crying.
horny was like pretty good.
Her her post-coital smile was.
She
pretty
seemed
great,
like she was
too.
fake crying. Like, and it was like, oh, is this intentional? She's just trying to get him over there. And so she could like fake cry and like, oh,
Maybe.
let's do this.
She's kind of manipulative.
I want to know
Possible.
why the fuck they landed on a wagon table. That's what I want. Like, where'd they find that table?
I thought that was a great.
And why were they
fucking
like,
song.
yep, this table?
When Princess Leia's like, I promise you that I will never want this fucking table to get out of my house. That shit is so funny, dude.
When he's wheeling it out at the end, and
Don't
he's
say
just
a
like,
word.
Don't even say anything. But
That
I
was
feel
pretty
like that's
solid.
when you first start seeing Harry and Sally like have their romantic connection, like their first little fight. And then they like comfort each other, and then they're holding hands going up the stairs, whether
Right.
people are paying attention to that or not.
Yeah.
And they're just friends then.
You fucked half of New York. You're gonna have to move to New Jersey.
Jersey.
Yeah, it was fucking great.
Hey, speaking of Clerks, right? Try not
Yeah.
to suck any dicks on your way.
That's what I'm saying. Your dialogue was. I mean, I feel I gotta look this up. I gotta find out if Kevin Smith is a big fan.
All right. Well, while you do that, why don't we move along to the next category?
Hey guys, Matt coming at you from the Real Drunks. Hey, if you're into movies, booze, craft beers, and just shooting the shit with your friends, join myself, Jake, and Alyssa on the Real Drunks on the Deluxe Edition Network and anywhere you get your podcast from. That's the Real Drunks, REEL, the Real Drunks. Check us out.
Is it a one-night stand, or do you hit it with a shovel, or take it home to mom and dad? It's like fuck, marry, or kill. It's Shag Snack Body Bag.
The way you hit that fuck is the best part of that song.
Fuck.
When you hit the fuck,
I love
marry
a
or
good
kill.
fuck. And speaking of that, I'll go ahead and start once we get into it.
Yes, please. Why don't you shag away?
Okay. I love when Meg Ryan says fuck. There's something about it. Because
Something about it.
to me, Meg Ryan has a cuteness to it, to her that's kind of innocent. Like I was kind of,
100%.
yeah. And so she has this innocent girl next door innocence to her. And there's just something about the way she says that after, because when he's talking to her about, she hasn't, fucked anybody, ever since she broke up with Joe or whatever. And she's like, I'll fuck when I'm ready, or I'll make love instead of fucking, or something like that. And just the way she said it was awesome. So.
She definitely says like make love very intentionally a couple of times.
Right.
And then all of a sudden she throws fuck at him when they're in that fight, which is great.
So that's what I'm going to shag.
I got a question.
Yeah.
You talked about earlier in your research other people that were supposed to play the Billy Crystal part. Was there anybody else up for the Meg Ryan part, or was she like, because she seems so perfect for it, right? Like, were there other people, or do we know?
I didn't see anything. Brad, did you see anything?
I didn't research this shit.
Love it. Thanks for being prepared, guys. We told you what movie we were watching like 2 weeks ago, you fucking asshole.
Throw it back. All right, so I speaking of ladies who like to say the word fuck, my shag is Donna Hardy. And if you don't know who Donna Hardy is,
Yeah.
if you watched the interviews, the old people interviews that are interspersed through this movie, there was one that stood out to me, and she was talking about like, what love is when it's like knowing a good melon. I know this lady, and I started thinking about it. I was like, oh my God, that is Donna Hardy, who was also in Running Man.
Oh,
Because in the Running Man, they ask if who are you going to bet on, and they're supposed to bet on the hunters that are going to kill the person that's running. And she says, "I'll take Ben Richards." He's like, "No, Ben Richards is the runner. I'll take whoever I want." That boy is one mean motherfucker. Crazy older lady. Now, here's the best thing about this lady, and this is why I'm shagging her, is that was her first movie role at the age of 75.
Running Man?
The Running Man in 1987.
It's fucking tight.
And she went on to have a 20-year movie and TV career.
At 70, whatever, she
With her
went till
first-
90s?
She was at 95 was like her last role.
God damn. Was she the chick
And
in
it's
Titanic?
badass. No. But she loves to drop a good F-bomb, because also in Superbad, the old lady who's like, "Oh, lady, you dropped your purse," and she's like, "Oh, would you like me to buy you some alcohol?" And then he's like, "Oh yeah, that'd be great." And then as he's like walking out, "Thanks, lady," he's like, "Oh, have fun fucking Jules."
Dude, that lady is
It's the same lady, and
Brad.
she's just a badass. And I'm like, that is so cool. She was like a United Way executive and retires, and then is like, I've always liked acting. I want to do some stage stuff. And then all of a sudden at 75, she gets her first movie role. 20 years she has a movie career.
Well, that means Superbad must have been one of her last, because that comes out in
Yeah, I think she passed away.
2000?
I think she passed away in 2012. So yeah, it was close to one of her last roles. But
So I'm going to say two things. Old people saying fuck is just always hilarious to me.
Betty White, gold,
Yeah.
pure gold.
Is that why you like when I say it in the song?
That was going to be my second point. No. My second point is that, Brad, that research you just did on that was fucking amazing. I'm sorry that I ever questioned your research ability. Good job.
I was stoked to see
you dug deep on, what is her name?
Donna Hardy.
Donna Hardy.
Rest in peace, Donna Hardy. You're a legend, and I love you for it. But that was the craze. 75 years old, first role.
That's fucking wild.
What are you shagging?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, it's so easy. I am shagging Meg Ryan's hairdos. And this is not the first time I've shagged hairdos on this podcast, and it won't be the last. But I am a big fan of women's hair. And dude, the very first scene when she has, that's the coolest thing about this movie is all the time jumps. And you know it's a time jump when Meg Ryan has a different hairdo. And it just it does it for me every time. And I'm not even a big Meg Ryan guy. Didn't love her eye makeup. I think she's pretty. She's pretty. She's cute. But man, the hair was just on point decade after decade, year after year. I fucking loved it.
The Farrah Fawcett was great. After that, it goes a little downhill.
Oh, you're tripping.
Some of those 80s styles, I was just like, what the fuck was all this poofy hair shit?
That's my shit. That's what I'm into, bro. The bigger the better, bud.
The one I didn't like the most was the crying. When she was crying, that whole was just kind of just a curly headed mess, and you know.
It was fucking great.
Oh, jeez.
Some guys are into big tits. I'm into big hair and big tits.
What we did see is in the 90s when she did dreads, it was kind of a little bit uncomfortable.
She did dreads when she was all grunge. She's the lead singer of Head PE.
All right, I'm shagging Bruno Kirby.
Good.
So I think this movie honestly doesn't work without him.
He's great.
He's kind of he's such a prototypical, his voice is such a voice of like the prototypical kind of down the middle, little bit of a meathead dude as that dude sees relationships, right? So it kind of gives this perspective that the film needs in order to like be honest without having the main character have to balance that kind of like that perspective themselves. Mm-hmm. And so for me, Bruno Kirby's character, right, and the way he delivers it, it moves the action along in a way that you learn a lot about what the dynamic is supposed to be without having to focus it too much on the shoulders of one character. So I think his character is the sort of dark horse for the most important role in the movie.
And he has such great chemistry with Billy Crystal, and obviously City Slickers,
right,
same thing. Yeah. You know, pretty much the same character in a lot of
City
ways.
Slickers is hugely underrated. I think
I agree.
I've kind of forgotten, but like really underrated now.
Well, he was in Spinal Tap as well. He's the
limo driver.
Limo driver.
Yeah.
If you've loved and lost like Frank has,
Talking about
so
himself in
deep
the
into
third
Frank,
person.
so deep into Frank Sinatra.
but so one of my favorite scenes in this movie, out of all of it, is when they do the double date, and then they're walking down the sidewalk, and then they kind of take each other apart.
Yeah.
Like, is it okay if I date, whatever?
Harry and Sally think they're like the ones like in the driver's seat here,
Right.
They're trying to protect them.
Don't do it tonight. Wait a couple weeks or whatever. It's like, I'm kind of tired. I'm gonna take a cab. I'll go with you. Boom. And
they fire out. Like they had a plan. They're like, hey, we're going home and we're fucking. So let's ditch these two. And the other two think that they're like that was
I think that
great
was
scene.
The one scene on this watch that I actually laughed out loud again. I've seen the movie so many times.
I really enjoyed that.
Oh
scene.
gosh,
That was good
it's so
stuff.
good.
As soon as he came on the screen, Lisa was like, "Oh, I love him as like a supporting actor."
Yeah,
and I was like,
he reminds me kind of like the Jeremy Piven sidekick
Yeah.
in some of his roles, especially with John Cusack. It's like they play that kind of same lane, which I like a lot. All right, what are we snagging?
I think Bruno Kirby should play Mario in the new Mario movie instead of Chris Pratt. I'm just going to put that out there.
He's kind of deader on Cameo.
He's dead?
Yeah, he passed away.
Can we get him on Cameo?
Dead or on Cameo?
Dude,
That's
there's
for all
people
our
listening that have
old
never heard that. Yeah, if you know that reference, you've been around since the beginning. Thank you. We
Thank you
appreciate
for listening.
I'm gonna snag, and this is just an easy one. Billy Crystal.
Dead or on Cameo.
Billy Crystal, and not so much because of this movie, which he's okay in this movie.
Because of Monsters, Inc.
I'm gonna say Zach, you can see through my fucking laptop because it says, because it led him to voice Mike Wazowski, which is one of the best characters of all time. And I mean, Miracle Max, he has so many little roles that are great. Even the mime in Spinal Tap, there's just a lot of things he's done. But Mike Wazowski is I just love Mike Wazowski with a passion. I'm just so excited that character exists.
Just in case you
and
guys-
Billy
So funny
Crystal
because-
is so perfect, and he brings so much character to that role. So I love Billy Crystal for that.
He's so obviously Billy Crystal in that role too. Like he's not disguising his voice one bit.
Oh, no.
They're like, do Billy Crystal. He's like, I can do that.
Just go heavy into Billy Crystal.
Yeah.
The best parts about Billy Crystal, and he does it perfectly. And there's just so many little aside jokes and little like things that they just let him riff with Mike Wazowski in both Monsters U and Monsters Inc. So
I watch a lot of Monsters Inc. right now in my house.
Really?
Oh yeah.
it's a great movie.
Yeah, Viv is like.
I was gonna say,
every
is
day.
Charlie or Vivi?
Viv, yeah.
Really?
So
Interesting.
I get a lot of Mike Wazowski. It's pretty good. I'm okay.
Viv's kind of got a little boo look to her.
Yeah, she does have that little boo. Look, for sure. I understand that. That's true.
All right, what are you snagging, Zach?
If I'm gonna snag something from this movie,
You have to. That's part of the rules.
this is how I prepare myself for what I'm going to say. I always say, if I'm going to shag something from this movie,
You do say that
I
phrase a
say
lot.
it every time. When I listen back, I'm like, gosh, shut the fuck up, dude. What are you saying? No, you said it earlier, Nate. So there's a thing in this movie where you actually think the characters know each other.
Yep.
And the way that they do that is by time jumping, which I already kind of hit, but it's the fucking montage, right? Like they do like several little montages of them like going in and out of each other's lives, and then them on the phone, and like the kind of back and forth thing like that. It's just a thing that I don't think that we do enough of anymore. Like, why aren't we montaging anymore? What the fuck's going
So
on?
you're snagging the montage.
There's a montage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's fucking. I think it's great. I think that's the part where you start to actually believe. It's what Scott was talking about, where the waiter is there and they're looking around, and like the fucking guy's giving her the crazy look, and you could tell she's doing her weird order,
Right.
and like all those little like scenes. I fucking dig that shit. I like the way that they build that relationship and that character, like those characters together with a 3-minute or a 2-minute little montage.
So mine's heavily related, but it's what I said earlier. It's not the montage is part of it, but I would simply say I want to snag the time scale of the movie.
I got it. I'm with you.
Time scale of movies for me has to hit right, and sometimes the correct time scale is 1 day, right? Like I think it's not all movies need to have a long time scale, but when you get that wrong. And for example, since we're here, I'll point this out as like one of the major fails. My number one complaint about Top Gun Maverick is that they get the time scale wrong, and it fucks the whole movie up for me. And I love that. I actually really like it, but they artificially forced the whole movie to happen over the course of like 2.5 weeks for no reason. It could be 10 weeks, and the movie's 100 times better. So like, I think time scale can be just make a movie and completely break it. And here for me, it's the best thing about it.
I thought it was the backflipping planes, but that was just my
The fact that he pulled 74 G's. If he actually would have done that.
Once you bite your tongue, once you all just go and eat one.
He's just jealous of that young kid's mustache.
Hey, that's my boy. He's gonna be on our podcast one day. I'll put that into we gotta
Put it in the universe.
Put it into the universe.
All right, Scott, what are you snagging?
So something, it's a subject we've discussed before with the previous podcast when we talked about something about Mary and the advice that he gave to Ted about cleaning the pipes, and the reason why you clean the pipes is because you want to clear your head. And I was actually a proponent of that, and I thought it was great advice, and I think I got a little pushback on that.
Terrible
Zach,
advice.
again. But anyway, but what I love is a little term that actually was a buddy of mine told me about recently. Post-nut clarity is what it's called. And so post-nut clarity is when Billy Crystal's laying there after they're done, after they do the sex, as they say. And
Who says that?
As Borat says.
Who says? I don't know anyone that says
they
that.
say it. They say it all the time.
Okay.
And the look on his face, how he just suddenly realizes, oh shit, What have I done? Because his head's clear. And that's the first example that I've seen of that in film. And, I think it was a pretty accurate representation. You made a mistake and the dude blew his load and now his mind's clear and he's like, now he can think. He's not thinking with his dick anymore. And so
I agree with what you're saying, and I think it's a good snag. But like, what's his fucking issue? Like, what's the problem? Like, I don't.
Well, because he
feels like he's taking advantage of her because she's sad, or what?
But it's the idea that he has told her many times that like he's just waiting to leave. Whenever he's fucked a girl, he's like, I'm just like waiting for the moment where I can bounce out.
Right.
And now he realizes, fuck, can't
do that.
I got to spend the night tonight because she's going to just realize if I just jump up right now and leave, she's going to think I'm an asshole because I just did what
he can't do that. He can't do that to her because she's different.
So he's got to spend the night. I think he realizes, fuck, I got to spend the night tonight. And he's like, shit, I was going to watch TV and I was going to do some other things, but now I got to spend the night here.
You think that's what he's thinking? He's like, I'm going to miss Cosby tonight?
I think so.
Jesus.
I think he knew he made a mistake and he screwed things up, but maybe it's that he wanted to go watch Cosby.
It was Friday. It was TGI Friday. Yeah. He was missing out.
Step by step was on.
But I'll tell you what though, right after that whole situation, the scene where they're on the phone and the choreography between how the hell they rehearsed that.
That was great.
It was so good when they're both on the phone with all four people at the same time, and then the rhythm of that was just so well done.
He's like, who is that? They're like, one of them hears the other person at one point.
All right, body bags. Anyone got a good one?
Well, it depends.
I mean, I do. Yeah, my body bag is Rob Reiner.
You're body bagging Rob Reiner?
I am, because I don't think he's the right director for this movie.
Carl Reiner.
Carl.
It was Carl. Carl should direct. No. And it's the pacing. I don't like the pacing in this film. I don't like the fadeaways, the weird edits. Like it's just every scene kind of just like fades out, and I hate a random fadeaway. And then there was
you don't like Latrell Sprewell, do you?
Even with it being a short movie, it's only 90 minutes or whatever. Yeah. It's just the pacing felt weird. It was just like, where are we in the middle of this movie? Are we in the end? Like where? Like it just never felt like. And not that a movie has to have that structure, but it just felt like, I guess most romantic comedies do kind of have like, oh, here we are. And it just felt like it was kind of just going and going. And it was like vignettes. And it reminded me of Spinal Tap, which has a lot of vignettes. And I felt like, is that the right way for this movie? I wanted to have a little bit more structure because we were just kind of going along. It's like, okay, well, now we're 5 more years in the future. Oh, now we're 5 more years in the future. Oh, we're 5 more years in the future. And it just felt like it kept doing that over. And then there was just one weird like freeze frame to fade out.
That was weird. There's an out of place where they freeze and then fade out.
It was weird.
I think they're like dancing, maybe. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, it was odd.
Totally, they don't do it at any other time in the whole movie.
It stood out to me, and so like just little shit like that, I was just like, what was Rob Reiner thinking? Like I don't know. Like maybe, and this is only a couple of years after Spinal Tap. He'd done some things in between, like Princess Bride and some awesome movies.
Right.
But this just felt weird. I don't know. That was my body bag. I just didn't like the style that it had. I feel like I think it could have been a better movie.
Is that a director's call? Is like fade out and stuff? That is.
All
right. If I'm body bagging something from this movie, and I've said like I'm not the biggest Meg Ryan guy. I don't think she's like the most beautiful woman in the world, but I love her character in this movie. I think she's very cute and innocent and sort of evolves into this like successful, like super cool chick and very pretty. I just have to body bag the fact that you can wait around 13 years and Meg Ryan's still waiting around for you. Like, what the fuck, dude? I'm sorry, but this dude drags his feet and drags his feet and drags his feet, and we're supposed to believe that fucking she just hasn't found any other guy, and then she's still going to be waiting around for him 13 years later? I very much doubt it. I love it. I mean, it's a fucking cool fairy tale, but it's not realistic. If we're going to say that this is a super realistic rom-com, she fucking has already found somebody else that's, you know, maybe not as cool as Mike Wazowski, but he's cool. You know what I mean? And she's happy.
When they're going on the double date and Bruno Kirby and Billy Crystal are walking together and he's like describing, he's like, okay, there's something wrong with her. He's like, obviously, if you have not tried to get with her yet, there's something
Yeah.
wrong with her. And he's trying to like dissect this. And he's like, wait, what the fuck? Wait, there's nothing wrong with this girl. And like somehow you aren't with her. And he was very confused. And that kind of sums up what you're talking about.
Chicks like Meg Ryan don't get to like 39 years old without freaking somebody swooping her up. You know what I mean?
Obviously he and Carrie Fisher immediately realized it and were like, no, these fuckers should be together. This is stupid. What are we doing here?
100%.
So I'm going to body bag the fact that nobody in the movie references the clear risk that she runs of having someone spit a loogie in her food. Because
love it.
100%, like this is low hanging fruit. Like there's no possible way that she doesn't routinely get like
expectoration,
spit and like, you know, semen and stuff like wiped out, you know, for people's asses on her food.
You guys
like,
seen that video where the waitress like takes the hot dog and puts it in her side of herself and then puts it back on the bun and then takes it out to the guy in the restaurant?
No.
Is this a skit or
no? It's like real surveillance video.
Perfect.
Wow.
Yeah. So
he probably
that's
said
the
no mayo, Nate.
Oh. So that's the
How
kind
many
of
pussy
shit.
dogs have you eaten?
Well, that's a whole other.
I just saw a prank where that somebody they cooked hot dogs and then took the hot dog water and put it into the ice cube tray, and then watched when their dad got out the ice cube tray and put the ice cubes in his drink and started drinking the hot dog water ice cubes.
Oh, God.
Anyway,
that was good stuff.
She is just her food is just filthy, and someone needed to point this out.
Yeah, she as much as she says I like what I like, it's like no, you don't do that to people. That's cruel and unusual.
You don't do that to people.
says the guy who was a server. All right, so who we got?
So I'm going to body bag Harry Connick Jr.'s On Purpose super shitty piano playing in the opening credits.
The longest opening credits ever.
It's also known as jazz. I'm going to body bag jazz.
Free jazz.
His version at the beginning, that piano, it's like, I know it's on purpose, and he's a great musician. He actually got a Grammy for this sound. His first Grammy for the soundtrack.
But then the first song is Louis Armstrong, right?
It had to be You. I think it was the piano instrumental at the very beginning.
But he's riffing on it like a fucking savant.
And hitting like just off
an idiot
notes.
savant.
And I don't know, it bugged the shit out of me.
Those are your best lines ever.
I haven't watched the opening credits on this maybe ever since when I first saw it, and I was sitting there, put it on the other night, I was like, oh God, I just hated it.
You know what it reminded me of, Scott? Because we were watching it, and about maybe a minute in, my wife goes, are we going to fucking watch this, or are you going to fast forward? Like, what are we doing? And but what it reminded me of was the guy that does all the music for Toy Story. What's his name?
Randy Newman.
Randy Newman.
It reminded me of Randy Newman. And have you guys seen the Family Guy skit on Randy Newman where he's just like, there's apples falling from the... It's just like the
Left
most...
foot, right foot, left foot, right foot.
It was like the piano, like musical version of Randy Newman.
Can you guys
writing
quit
a song.
besmirching the name of Randy Newman? Major League,
I know, he's amazing.
Toy Story.
That Family
Come
Guy
on.
episode was great.
It's not amazing.
All
It's
right,
dog shit.
let's get on.
Crackle, Pluto, HBO, find anime on Crunchyroll, Peacock, Hulu, Disney, Netflix, Tubi, Sling TV, Shudder, Fubo. What the fuck is Fubo? I'm sure it'll cause a sensation. It's our streaming recommendation.
I'd really like us to get some sort of video capability so that everyone can see Scott do air drums for every single intro.
He loves the little.
There's always a fill, and Scott's always like,
it's so
it's
good.
actually pretty amazing.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
All right.
Thanks.
What do we got for streaming? Anyone?
I mean, if I'm streaming, I'm going to go with the Carl Reiner classic, Princess Bride. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Kendra brought it up earlier. RUS's fucking Princess Buttercup.
We will do that movie at some point.
We have to. We have to. The Man in Black, Inigo Montoya.
You guys might be a Meg Ryan person, but Robin Wright, that's my person.
Really?
Which is funny because really not that different. Like, kind of.
Big difference.
Beauty wise, Robin Wright aged gracefully, and Meg Ryan went to shit.
This is a terrible take.
No,
hate
but he
that
has
take.
a point there.
She became the
Do you know
Joker.
what Meg
Kendra.
Ryan looks like right now?
She became the Joker.
Zach, do you know what Meg Ryan looks like right
She
now?
looks like she does on When Harry Met Sally.
No, she looks like half of her face was melted onto something and the other half was like engorged.
Oh, did she do the thing?
Yeah, she's not. It's not good,
Not
but
good.
it's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad.
Do I hear a hint of judgment in your voice, or maybe
Yes.
a lot? Of
Yes.
judgment?
No. Yeah. There's some judgment.
There you go.
Yeah. It's gone. It's
Oh.
not. Yeah. Yeah. It's not great.
Yeah.
It's not
Well, she's trying to keep up with the Joneses, bro. I feel bad for her.
Robin Wright looks just
great. Robin Wright's
wonderful.
She's banging.
Yeah.
For sure.
Robin Wright.
House of Cards, Robin Wright.
Robin Wright is one of
Yes.
the few women that, in my opinion, can pull off that haircut that she had in House of Cards.
Like a
It
short.
was a bit
little
problematic.
Bobby
Yep.
A-line.
I mean, it was almost as problematic as Kevin Spacey.
Wow.
Maybe that's why Kevin Spacey liked her so much.
Oh my Lord.
Oh man.
Sorry.
Out of
Are
control.
we? Anyone have any other Robin
I think-
Wright recommendations?
I'm just going to say that I love that movie. I said it earlier. Did not know it was a comedy. I think if you show it to your kids, they will love it. They won't get any of the jokes, and it'll be just fine, and they will love the shit out of it. So show it to your kids. Show it to your grandmas. Show it to Meg Ryan's plastic face, and everyone will love it. Take that out.
I think one that's good that we touched on a little bit earlier is, especially if you like When Harry Met Sally, is a lot like Love, because it's built very similarly. It's these two people that start off. The guy kind of
Who
likes her.
are the actors and actresses in that?
It's Ashton Kutcher and Amanda Peet.
Oh, that's the one you're talking about. Okay, okay.
And he kind of likes her in the beginning and she hates him. And it's essentially a bunch of years of them.
Hating each other and not
It's
hating each other.
very When Harry Met Sally-ish. It jumps back and forth. They meet each other.
Is Ashton Kutcher good in it?
I mean,
Yeah,
he's
I'd
Ashton.
say yeah.
Yeah,
He
he's
is?
Ashton Kutcher.
Because he's either really good or really bad in
I think
almost
he's
everything I
solid
see
in
him in.
this.
It's not like whatever that terrible one with Brittany Murphy was.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
It's not. No, I'm
Just
saying it's
Married.
not. Like it's not.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
that.
All right, I think it's garbage.
And then I think is it his actual brother that's in the movie that's deaf? Because he has a twin brother in real life that's deaf.
He does.
I'm not sure if that's who it is.
Anyways, great flick.
That's a good one. You literally can't watch that or stream that anywhere. So
Well, I own it on the DVD. So
Kendra will lend it to you. Just,
gonna
hit us
upload
up on
it.
the socials.
Find
We'll get it to you.
all right, Scotty, what do you got?
Yeah, unfortunately, speaking of things that you can't stream, I'm going to just briefly mention this because I looked, it's not anywhere and it sucks, but it's Rob Reiner's first film, which is called The Sure Thing. And I love that. It's a great movie, and it's kind of similar in a lot of ways. It's John Cusack and Daphne Zuniga
Yes.
on a road trip
On a
across
road
the country. She's kind of a prude, kind of uptight, and he's going across the country to hook up with Nicolette Sheridan or something like that. And but it's a really, really good movie.
And he realizes he's in love with her.
It, of course, spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
But
I haven't seen it.
You can buy a used copy on Amazon right now for $8.05.
And that's Daphne Zuniga from the movie we just watched.
Spaceballs.
She's beautiful.
She's super cute in this
Yeah.
too. So, but if you want something that's streaming, go watch Sleepless in Seattle or something because Rob Reiner's in it, and that's on Netflix.
or You've Got Mail is a solid pick too. If you're gonna
Nothing
Meg
wrong with
Ryan
You've Got
it.
Mail.
Meg
You're gonna
Ryan.
Meg Ryan it.
Yep.
All right.
I love
Give it to
America Online.
All right, I've got two, and one the second one is just for good reasons. Clerks, I mentioned it earlier. I feel like this is kind of like a follow up to When Harry Met Sally. I think it's when Harry Met Sally 2, essentially. I mean, that's basically
Double
what it
feature
is.
Harry Met Sally and Clerks.
So which one is Harry? Who's Harry?
Dante.
Yeah. Who's Sally? Randall.
Randall.
She really jumped off the other side.
No, but it's all about relationships, and it's a lot of sex talk and how people, I think what people like about When Harry Met Sally, it feels like this is what people actually talk about.
Right.
And I think that Clerks, obviously to a little bit greater R-rated extent, is kind of how people talk. Like that's the conversations like we would have when we were young and just talking about relationships. So I appreciate that. That's on Paramount Plus. The other one, and I've recommended this, and this movie makes so much more sense to me now because that I've seen When Harry Met Sally. They spoof on it a lot. They Came Together, which is a romantic comedy spoof. I didn't realize how many scenes, like when she makes.
You didn't get any of the jokes before.
Well, I thought it was hilarious that she orders a coffee with like 17,000 instructions and like, oh, you want the special? It's like all of that written up there. But like, I didn't realize that's a whole When Harry Met Sally joke. So there was a few different things in that movie that play off of When Harry Met Sally. So if you've not watched They Came Together, it is a ridiculous, crazy, hard R spoof of romantic comedies. And the reason I recommend it is because it's on a streaming recommendation I've never heard before, Freevee.
Oh,
Really?
Freevee.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
I've seen
Freevee.
it. I've not delved down the.
I don't think we've ever put Freevee on here
Not
before.
TV,
So
but free.
So you go.
Freevee.
That's the movie where they go to meet her parents and they're like neo Nazis, right? So that shit is so funny.
All right, I got 3 recommendations.
Oh my
'Cause
Lord.
I'm host and I don't give a shit. All right.
Mic drop.
Why? Because fuck you. That's why.
The first one I've recommended multiple times on this podcast and already referenced it here, and that is Sleeping with Other People with Jason Sudeikis and Allison. No, not Allison Brie. Anyway, so
Some chick.
Allison Hannigan.
no, but anyway, so that's
Buffy, bro.
It's a great one. It kind of has the same structure. I think it's the best rom-com of the last 10, maybe more years.
It was good.
It's great. So that's 1. 2.
Great, Zach. It's not good.
Get it straight.
We're going to go a little off script here, and because of the Billy Crystal Bruno Kirby combo, City Slickers,
Oh,
Yeah.
which
both
is
are good.
I think I saw that in the theater, dude, as a youngster, bro.
Jack Palance. Palance, I think, won supporting actor for that.
I believe you're right.
Always don't like this.
And
There's a storm, bro.
oh, it's great. So anyway, if you want more Kirby and more Crystal sort of chemistry, go there.
Their chats about baseball and everything. It's just
great. Oh, and
so
throw in Daniel Stern in the mix.
Yeah.
I mean, come
so
on.
good.
And throw in my ultimate fantasy, which is being a cowboy.
Oh, I forgot. I
mean,
learned that
dude.
this weekend that Zach desperately wants to be a cowboy.
Hey, rodeo.
Hey, it's rodeo.
Rodeo weekend. Actually, it just passed, but we're
No, it's
living in
this
a weird.
stupid weekend.
No.
Here.
This won't come out.
We
until
live in a
later,
weird
so-
Time is a flat
yes,
circle.
yes,
here.
Time
sorry.
is a flat circle here at
Different
Video
time.
Kingdom.
But yes, it is rodeo weekend.
I went to rodeo last year. It was hot, and it won't be hot this year.
Sounds
Maybe
like
it'll
chill.
be fun.
This is the first year I'm gonna be stuck in town for rodeo because it falls right by my birthday, and we usually run away.
You're
And
gonna.
I
you're
can't
not
run
gonna go?
away anymore.
Walter will love it. Last time I was there, the only beer that you could possibly buy in the only place was Coors Light and Blue Moon. I was like, "Am I in hell? Is this?
Yes.
Is this really what is happening right
You're
now?"
so snobby.
I think Shock Top would be worse than Blue Moon.
Yeah, I mean, anything.
But yes.
Lots of things would be worse. But if you only have to choose between those two dog shit beers, it was like, I guess give me the fucking twist off fucking aluminum bottle of Coors Light.
Yeah,
Jesus
you're gonna
Christ.
go that over Blue Moon because that's like gets
100%.
thick and chewy.
Blue Moon, not good.
Christ.
Give me
Tastes
an
like-
orange and drop
Hey.
it in my beer, please.
Can I make my third recommendation here? For
We're
the
talking
love
about
of
citrus
God.
beer, bro.
All right, the third
Brah?
one is a
Brah?
Freddie Prinze Jr. and Claire Fiorlani joint from 2000 called Boys and Girls.
Oh,
Very similar structure, but with a lot more Freddie Prinze Jr.
Especially since this one has 0.
is Freddie Prinze Jr. a dick in it?
Oh, no,
Because he's always like very like.
No, he's exactly the opposite.
broody.
He's kind of earnest and nerdy.
Oh, okay. That's exactly that's
he's
Freddie
great.
Prinze Jr.
Has Jason Biggs in it in kind of a weird little supporting
Oh,
role.
okay.
It's a
Does
very.
he
Is there a
prematurely
pie?
come?
I think there is
I'm
a
the pie fucker.
Anyway, this is one that like it's you got to take it for what it is, but I really love it. Have you seen it, Kendra?
I never even heard of it.
What?
I'm not. I'm gonna watch it though.
What is it streaming on?
Oh, it's on. You can watch it right now on Paramount Plus.
Freddie
Ooh,
Prinze
we've
Jr.
got that. We
dude.
subscribe to the Plus.
Boys and girls, watch it. Report back.
Watch Clerks
Heard.
first.
Okay.
I watch Clerks. I like Clerks 2 more.
All right.
Did you watch Clerks 3?
Not yet. I need to.
Oh, it's not great.
Okay.
I'm still excited for
I'm
it.
so excited that Brad admitted he didn't like it.
let's do some rees.
That's how I know you're real, Brad.
Do something else.
Let's do rees.
No jet wash for Maverick, Meg still on that goose stick. Iceberg list Titanic, Leo's drawing that nude shit. Jim fucks Nadia like we all thought he should. Ricky and Doughboy get the fuck out the hood. Luke hooks up with Leia just like he's intending. It's time for a reshelf and alternate endings.
Boom.
I love Zach was trying to get me the air drum again or what, but I'm like, dude, it's a fucking.
There's no
I
fill.
sampled that one.
There's no fill. Scott was like, what the fuck? There's no fill. I'm not going to look cool doing a fucking weird hi-hat beat.
Movie ending songs, anybody?
I didn't come up with anything.
I didn't do anything like that. I was just
Shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
Nice segment.
I do have an alternate ending though.
Give it to us.
All right.
All right. So my only thought was like, dude, we got to make this movie kind of fucked up. You know, everybody likes a little bit more fucked up. This movie is very kind of vanilla. Even like the emotional moments are just not high stakes emotional. It never gets aggressive. Like, you know, love can be aggressive. It can be like even their yelling matches or crying matches. It's just never that like, you kind of feel like, it's not that big of a deal. Anyway, Harry was actually a Russian spy the entire time.
Oh.
And it's because Sally's dad was a top official at the Department of Defense. Oh. He works on projects, you know, to prevent Soviet nuclear attacks. So he's a very high value target. After Harry finally confesses love to her, he proposes and a wedding is planned. Her father is at the wedding, of course. And Harry goes and assassinates him with some poison cake. And then he escapes for Russia, leaving Sally brokenhearted and, you know, just confused.
I mean,
Poison
that
cake was my
seems
favorite
reasonable,
Poison
you
cake.
know?
he was just like so coy about his job. Oh, I work for political.
If
blah,
anyone
blah,
in
blah,
that
blah.
movie is going to be a spy, though, it's going to be Ira. Ira's
Ira's
spy.
the new husband.
And Helen's
husband
the
of
little,
Helen.
like, slutty.
Oh, the
gets the
bald
money.
guy.
Yeah.
But
Ira.
doesn't Harry the whole time he's like, I do political consulting or something? Like he's just like, it's a very
his job's
Yeah.
very ambiguous.
kind of ambiguous
true.
job. They never are very passionate about what they actually do.
Right.
As a bald man, there's a thing that Ira does in this movie that it just you don't really see as much anymore, which is just like fully embracing your baldness and growing the sides out. Like he really like lets the sides go.
Right.
And the top is just like nothing. You don't see that a lot.
And he's a little lurchy.
Oh, I thought he was a great looking man. I think, well,
You
I mean,
just like bald
I'm
brotherhood.
partial to
what it is?
Skinheads.
Jesus.
3, 2, 1.
My alternate ending was just founded though in the fact that like they never talk too much about their jobs and they never talk about their families. Like we know nothing about their
No, it's just Harry and Sally.
we know nothing about parents, brothers, sisters.
Well, and I think that's probably on purpose because they kind of become each other's family, right? They're like really dependent on each other. She never calls her mom and asks for mom for help.
Did all the parents die?
I think there was a terrible.
I think New Yorkers just don't really have families.
Ooh,
They're bred by
Or-
rats and they just kind of like grow up in the streets.
bred by rats. Jesus Christ, dude! What's some
saying,
fucking
like,
racist stuff, dude?
I mean, you just
What
said.
racist trope is about rats? 'Cause, I mean, I'm asking I really want to know.
I think what you're doing right now is projecting.
I was just trying to go along with my skinhead joke earlier.
All right. Anyone else have a reshelf alternate ending?
So I was going to reshelf this. I didn't really flesh this out too much, but maybe you guys can help me kind of come up with some other points. But I want to reshelf it as a thriller.
Oh,
And
I like that.
basically, they go on this car ride together, kind of talking, whatever, similar type of vibe or whatever. But then after that, they separate, and then she starts dating somebody, and then he just kind of disappears, and he doesn't say goodbye or anything like that. He leaves a note or something. So then they'll get back together, and he'll try. They'll be making this friendship. Then she'll get with somebody else. The next thing you know, something happens to that guy.
Oh,
Because he's a Russian spy.
dude, I love where this is going.
So basically, the whole movie is them being reunited, and her significant other's just kind of disappearing, and he's killing them.
It's like an extreme version
Yeah.
of Something About Mary. Where
Yeah.
like
He's
Woogie
Woogie.
is killing dudes.
Exactly.
So I thought you were going to say that she was killing them and then finally.
Poisoning them in the food.
Every time he shows back up, she's like, "Oh fuck, I don't like this
wanna
guy,"
kill
and
that
just
guy.
kills him.
Interesting.
Single
Yeah.
white
Okay.
female type shit.
Okay. Could go either direction.
And then he leaves, and she's like, "Okay, I guess I got a new boyfriend." And then as soon as he comes back,
Yep.
oh fuck this guy,
Then she kills him with poison cake.
poison cake.
Poison cake's like the most specific way to kill somebody.
All right. So
If she's gonna kill him with anything, it's gonna be the pie, apple pie a la mode with the ice cream on the side, but
side.
not heated. It's
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah,
Put the poison on the side.
yeah.
Jesus.
all right, I've got kind of a combo deal here. And it's pretty subtle change. So everything happens exactly the same.
It's my favorite beginning to all the alternate endings.
And we all know where they're going too, which is awesome.
Okay.
It's like it's gonna be some surprise. After 110 episodes, he's like, "This is gonna be a surprise."
Everything happens
They're not
exactly
even
the
gonna
same.
understand where this comes
hear
from.
me out. Just hear me out. So. Oh shit. Okay. I got it. I'm good. Okay. So he shows up. He says,
You're not good, bud. You don't got it.
Doesn't have it.
I'm gonna get this back. I promise.
He's thinking about melty vanilla ice cream right now.
Oh yeah.
So white and creamy.
So creamy. It doesn't look. It looks like he's in pain.
We've ruined him.
I've
never seen
You guys, he's crying.
He's crying.
He's actually an AI robot, and his battery is low right now.
That's what happens when Nate doesn't sleep. Touch your phone, it's going to go black.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so he says, I came here tonight because when you realize you want to spend the rest of eternity with somebody, you want the rest of eternity to start as soon as possible. And at first she's like, that's really romantic. And she kind of cocks her head and she's like, wait,
Exposing her neck a little bit.
you mean like the rest of your life? And then Billy Crystal bares his fangs and says, no, the rest of eternity.
I want to suck your blood.
Bites her on the neck, turns her into a vampire, and roll Harry Connick Jr.
And
Boom.
And then
I was
shitty
gonna say-
piano fucking ensues.
When Harry met Sally till dawn.
When Harry met Sally till dawn. Okay, I'm back. I got it.
We thought we lost you.
We didn't see that coming.
God, dude.
I love it. That's a great reference for the that got elected in our draft for best quote. Was that correct?
that whole speech, his
Most romantic.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, for most romantic one-liner.
That's right. I think it might have won somebody a draft or something.
I actually like her response. What's her response in the movie? He says all that shit.
Says, "God damn it, Harry!
Yeah.
I hate
I
you.
hate you."
Oh,
or I
yeah.
hate
She says, I hate you.
You
and-
make it impossible for me to hate you.
Yeah.
And I hate you, Harry.
That's fucking the greatest, like, 10
Again,
things I hate about you poem
Yeah.
fucking line ever. I
Well,
like
that's
that.
where it started.
all right.
See, I didn't know that. I'm just like Brad watching
You're just like a
They
fresh-
Came Together and just having no idea where half of the jokes came from.
I'm watching it again probably tonight or tomorrow night. I don't know. One of the
You'd be
other.
like, I thought this shit was funny before.
All right.
Can't wait.
Anybody else got anything to throw in here? Are we good? We good? Everybody
good,
said
man.
their piece.
I think we should leave.
Moving.
All right. Next week we are back with a draft, and that draft is orgasmic.
Ooh. Them sound effects. I love it.
We are going to be drafting the most memorable orgasms in movies,
real or fake.
real or fake. So
Non-pornographic.
Oh, yeah. That's
Right.
important.
No porn.
Like, it's not a Pornhub dive.
Oh, those are still movies.
can't do porno.
Well, maybe we should take a
I've already done a deep dive.
I bet you have, bud. I bet you have.
There goes 300 hours of research.
Yeah, I was gonna say Devil
down
Miss
the
Jones
tube. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 were like my top 6 picks.
So if I'm not prepared next week, now you know why. Because I thought we were doing a different category than we are. Jesus Christ.
All right. So that's coming back at you next week. This was
Pun
when
intended.
Harry met.
Sally.
Don't make me cry again. When Harry met Sally.
Goodbye.
I wanna be at Beverly's, bringing me home with my movies. Just a blind ride, no reason why. I love this scene. Ignite, I can grab your favorite podcast. Let's start.